What's going on? 10 o'clock. Good morning. Happy Friday from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Titans getting some rookie deals done yesterday, signing Kevin Winston Jr., Alec Manor, Jackson Slater, Marcus Harris, and Kalel Mullings, all to their rookie deals. Cam Ward, Oladejo, and Adike have not been re-signed. God, what am I going through today? Members of the 9-member draft class, along with the team's undrafted free agents, arrived in Nashville on Thursday for rookie minicamp. The team is scheduled to practice on Friday and Saturday at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. We'll have updates from that for you. Last night in the NBA, Timberwolves knocked off Steph Curry-less Warriors 117-93. Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle combining for 24 points. Tonight, you got 2 game threes. Cavs and Pacers tip off at 6:30. Thunder and Nuggets at 9:30. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. Good Friday morning. No one blowing a gasket today. Let's have some fun. No buck rising means a brighter day for all of us. Until 1 o'clock on 104.5 The Zone, I'm Lucas Panzica with Robert Walsh with you until 1 o'clock. Rookie minicamp right around the corner. Titans rookies will be on the field. We will hear from some of them tomorrow. You heard Robert in his update mentioning some of the rookie deals.
Stumbling through.
Made it through, though. You made it through.
God, this is the day I'm glad Buck is not here, because that would have been when he chimed in. Who? What? Who was that signed their rookie deal? God, I'm so glad he's not here.
Buck, who famously butchers every other name that comes out of his mouth. So no room to talk. But you made it to rookie minicamp, and it's about that time to see highlight package throws. Cam Ward with a tight spiral down the field to DK or Io Manor, whoever it might be, going all over Titans Twitter and getting everybody all excited in anticipation for the 2025 season. We will talk to Coach Dave McGinness at 11:20 about exactly that. Rookie minicamp, what coaches are trying to accomplish during a week like this. A lot going on last night. You heard Robert also in his update, the Timberwolves routing the Warriors without Steph Curry. The Edmonton Oilers, still inevitable, overtime win over the Golden Knights to take a 2-0 series lead. But even with all of that going on, NBA, NHL playoffs, rookie minicamp around the corner, interesting developments bubbling for the future of college football, which they always seem to be. We'll get to all of that today. But of course, we're going to open the show by coming all the way back around to one Bill Belichick. Are people tired of this? I feel like I am getting tired of this, but new stuff keeps coming out about Bill Belichick and the Jordan Hudson situation at North Carolina. Robert, I knew the Belichick experience at UNC was going to be interesting. We all had our eyes on it. It was going to be a fascinating experiment to watch one of the greatest, if not the greatest, NFL head coaches of all time drop down to the college level and implement that NFL style of building a roster, trying to be a pipeline to the National Football League, Mike Lombardi as his general manager, all of these things. We knew it was going to be a fascination. We did not know that we'd already be talking about Bill Belichick this much in relation to his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. Where are you on the Belichick fatigue? Because there is a new development.
I can't get enough of this. I'm eating it up because, you know, you might not have been here that week. She is living my dream. My dream is to have some older gal, successful in her life, but then to let me squeeze the remaining juice.
Oh, maybe like a women's basketball coach?
I would love that. Give me the pension. Give me the Social Security. Give me all of that. She is living my dream. So to see that it's potentially being thwarted does my soul good.
Derek on the F&M Bank chat says, yes, we are tired of this. I am too. I hear it. It's fascinating. I get why Robert can't get enough. I'm starting to get tired of it, but I'm sorry, we can't help but pay attention when Pablo Torre goes on his show and says what he says, which is the following.
A couple of breaking news updates since what has happened publicly since we last gathered. Number one, okay? 2 sources at the University of North Carolina tell me that there has been a decision. It was made last week by the higher-ups inside the athletic department that had hired Bill Belichick to be the highest-paid public employee not just coach, in the state of North Carolina at $10 million a year. And that decision was that Jordan Hudson is no longer allowed in the football building.
Okay.
She is not allowed on the football field. Mm-hmm. Quote, don't think you'll be hearing much from Jordan moving forward.
Wow.
Dang, not in the
flippant.
building?
That's a little flippant.
Jordan Hudson, banned from UNC's football facility, according to Pablo Torre. That is from the show Pablo Torre Finds Out of Meadowlark Media on the DraftKings Sports Network.
Well, he definitely found out. But one thing he didn't mention, they didn't say anything about a blimp. She doesn't have to be in the building to be floating above the practice field with binoculars. I think we're really, or a hot air balloon, you know, with Bill's face on it. There's no way you can. Oh, don't worry, guys. This seems like preemptive damage control from the PR that Bill was. I'm going to look for outside PR help. Okay, first thing we're going to do, we're going to say she's nowhere near the building. I bet you there is a picture of her at the UNC facilities this week. Like, you're not going to. It's such
A picture of her in what context? Like a picture of her on Bill Belichick's desk, or a picture of her, like, have you seen this woman?
a picture of her not.
Do not let this woman enter the premises.
A picture of her carrying all her belongings out in a cardboard box. No, I think it's such a strong shift from what the conversation was even a week ago. Like, you remember send all my emails to her. Do this. She will have no contact with our football team. Like, just a strong shift, man.
And then there's this quote from Pablo Torre towards the end of this clip. We're not going to play the whole thing for you. It's over 2 minutes. But he adds at the end that one Belichick family source said to Pablo Torre, and I quote, "There is deep worry for how detrimental Jordan can be, not just for North Carolina, but for Bill's legacy, reputation, everything he has built and worked for over decades." A Belichick family source directly to Pablo Torre. I mean,
who would that be? Would that be Steve?
Yeah, is it Steve? There's another Belichick son that's on the coaching staff at UNC that I found out about very recently that his name is escaping me. Obviously, we know Steve to be the former Patriot staffer, was the DC at Washington last year, now is on staff at North Carolina. I mean, he was the subject of some of these emails. Jordan Hudson was, from a PR standpoint, trying to make sure that everybody was on the same page and shaping Steve Belichick as a competent defensive coach, as a fast riser in the business, not as Bill's son. All these marketing angles that we saw her taking, that we saw Bill asking other officials within UNC's football department to listen to her on. And now Pablo Torre says she's banned from the facility. This has just been insane.
I just had a That's So Robert moment. You know, That's So Raven, when she could see the future.
Oh.
Like it would, a future vision would strike her. I just had a future vision.
Oh, what do we call that? There has to be a name for that.
That's So Robert? You don't like that?
No, I know, but there has to be a name.
A premonition. A premonition. Okay. Anyway, have you ever seen the movie Tommy Boy?
Of course. Multiple times.
Farley's father is getting married to a woman, and she's like, oh, this is my son. This is my son. I wonder if this is a Tommy Boy situation where Jordan Hudson is actually infatuated with the lesser Belichick son. Oh, this other son on the coach. Oh, she's going to ruin my dad's legacy. We got to get her out of here. There is something afoot. There is something afoot here, and I can feel it.
All right, I'll let you do some digging on that with all your North Carolina sources.
They would tell me anything.
It's about time ACC Truth and Robert Walsh dug up some information on this thing. Again, how did we not universally, as a society, come together from the very beginning here when there was a Freedom of Information Act request where dozens, hundreds of emails were leaked with Bill Belichick basically disclosing Jordan Hudson's involvement in the program, where everything goes through Jordan, everything from a marketing standpoint, digital strategy, social media, goes through this 24-year-old girlfriend of Bill Belichick's, who is about the same age as half his football team, and doesn't work for the university. That wasn't an immediate red flag to everybody. I really feel like too many people were too quick to say that this was a chestnut checkers and that she knows what she's doing because she's young and doom scrolls on Instagram. This has been an abject disaster at every turn, and none of us should be surprised by that. There should not be an inkling of surprise that this has gone poorly for Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson, and everybody involved.
People in the chat, any publicity is good publicity. Y'all selling the book for them. One, I can't even tell you what the title of that book is. I can almost guarantee you it ain't going to end up on a New York bestseller. It ain't going to end up on Oprah's Book Club of the Week list. Like, the book is the smallest portion of this. And honestly, if her involvement was to help sell this book, then that is what put this in a tailspin. For her to be like, oh, we're only here to talk about the book. We're only here to talk about the book. The book is not interesting. We know what happened. You're not giving us any new details. We want to know why you're with this sweet young thing, Bill. Talk about it.
615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Also on the FNM Bank chat, like Robert is looking at. 1045 The Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Jump in with you until 1 o'clock. Can we, that's one catchphrase or saying, whatever you want to call it, that I feel like we got to dispel. Right? No such thing as bad publicity. There is absolutely such thing as bad publicity. That is insane to me. Where did that even come from?
Back when you couldn't get canceled in like the 60s or 70s. Oh, what do you mean? There's no bad publicity. There's going to be all over the papers, kid. Like, yes, there is bad publicity now. Like, it's just an outdated reference.
It is an absolutely outdated reference. What are we talking about? Of course there's such thing as bad publicity. This is bad publicity. The North Carolina football program looks like a mess right now, and we'll see what happens on the football field. They've got their quarterback out of the portal out of South Alabama, and they're making all these moves, and who knows what Jordan Hudson's involvement is. But this has just been so bizarre from the jump. It's just so wild. I love playing this game. I do this way too much, where I bring up the thought of going back in time and telling Phil and Franklin driving around in his car, telling me in 2018, hey, this is what Bill Belichick's going to be doing 7 years from now, and this is the situation. Nobody would believe you. Nobody believe a word that you said. He's coaching where? He's dating who? She's doing what with the football program? Incredible. So
I love how messy this is getting in the chat. I think Bill's girlfriend is a Duke operative. That if she was a sleeper cell agent for another ACC school, think about the possibilities.
I mean, is there any evidence to the contrary? Where is she from? Does her family bleed blue that way? I don't know.
Someone needs to deep dive into this.
I think you do.
Am I the man for the journalistic integrity? This is where you come for it with Bert.
She's a former Bridgewater State University cheerleader, which obviously makes her qualified to run an entire PR department for an ACC football program. Where is Bridgewater State University? It's in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. I don't know. Maybe we'll do some digging on that. Bizarre situation with Bill Belichick. I know folks are probably tired of it, but I'm sorry. Like we, at every turn, there's developments on this thing, and we're going to keep up with it because it is, like it or not, one of the more interesting situations in all of college football. Wacky. There are some quarterback situations across the NFL that I wouldn't call wacky, but interesting. We don't really get legitimate starting quarterback competitions in the National Football League. We talk about that all the time. It's far and few between. We might actually have multiple in 2025, and some of them are going to be really interesting to pick through, including one, obviously, in the Titans division. We'll talk about that next. Hey guys, it's Lucas. I have to tell you about the coolest new spot in Music City, Fog Street Lawn Club, Nashville's premier soccer pub. So it's your go-to spot to watch Nashville SC games. If you can't make it out to Geodis Park this weekend for the Charlotte match, go watch it with your fellow fans of the Boys in Gold. It's also open early for Premier League action, even those 6 a.m. kickoffs. But no matter the sport, Fog Street Lawn Club makes sure you won't miss a moment. So much space downstairs, multiple bars, so many tables, TVs everywhere, and you'll never get bored. Check out the rooftop. It's the most picture-perfect view of downtown Nashville you're going to find. Play cornhole or lawn bowling. Downstairs, you can challenge your friends to some axe throwing at Bad Axe. Fog Street Lawn Club gives you the experience of downtown Music City with an escape from all the craziness of Broadway. Family-friendly, great for all sports fans. They have a great menu of British pub-style food and a large drink selection. Check out Happy Hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. Go watch some of the NBA, NHL playoff action. Enjoy the sunshine on the gorgeous rooftop, and I will see you at Fog Street Lawn Club located on Fog Street. So it's not something that we get often in the NFL. Legitimate quarterback competitions for a starting job. It's one of those things we don't really think about that often, right? But when you actually look at every quarterback situation around the NFL year over year, it's rare that you go into training camp with two legitimate competitors to be the starter. Every NFL team, for the most part, their starter is determined well before the start of training camp. Like, Robert, can you think of one off the top of your head, other than the ones we're about to discuss here? Like, recently, one of the more prominent recent legit quarterback competitions in the NFL. Even when the Titans traded for Ryan Tannehill, brought him over here from Miami, he was the backup. Like, there was no question about it. Marcus Mariota had to lose that job.
And he still started that season, right?
Marcus did, yeah. Started that dreadful, 2-4 start before Tannehill took over and obviously led the Titans to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, that one's tough for me because, one, I've got a sick brain fog, so trying to pull up any actual quarterback battles. But I don't think we've had an actual quarterback battle, like a real one, in a long time. And I would love for somebody to provide me with an example and prove me wrong if you want to call us up, 615-737-1045. I would love to have an actual quarterback battle to watch where we didn't go, yeah, the rookie's going to beat him out. Like, the rookie's going to eventually start. Like, maybe Michael Penix in Atlanta, but even then we knew Kirk was going to start because the money they invested in him.
Happens all the time in college football, all the time. And you have 3-4-man quarterback competition sometimes in college football. Alabama's got like 6 dudes competing for the quarterback spot, Ty Simpson in the driver's seat. We know Tennessee's going to hold a competition coming up in a few months. Joey Aguilar, Jake Merklinger, and then George McIntyre in the fold as well. But here we are with the Indianapolis Colts, where Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones are going to battle it out to be the starting quarterback of the Colts. That is a legitimate quarterback competition. Truly, that is going into training camp with goal number 1, figure out which of these two guys gives us the best chance to win. Not a great spot for general manager Chris Ballard, who gets chance after chance after chance to be in, nor head coach Shane Steichen, when you've got a quarterback in Anthony Richardson that threw 8 touchdowns to 12 interceptions last year, competing with a quarterback in Daniel Jones that threw 8 touchdowns to 7 interceptions last year. One of those two guys is going to be your starting quarterback. That's as up in the air a quarterback competition as I can remember. Now, it's obvious who, if you're the Colts, you want to win that job. You probably need your top 5 pick, Anthony Richardson, to take the requisite steps to becoming a competent starting quarterback in the NFL. But they've gone the opposite approach the last 2 years. They've handed him the keys, despite the fact that he has not even been remotely close to ready. And now they're going the other direction in year 3 of the Anthony Richardson experience in Indianapolis.
Drew in Murfreesboro just rang us up. Didn't have time to stay on the line, but he made a lot of sense. Remember last year with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields? Like, that seemed like it was going to be a big quarterback battle coming in, but Russell got hurt. That was the whole reason Justin Fields started the season, was because Russell wasn't healthy. When Russell came back, even though Fields was having a pretty decent year, they went back to Russell. Like, even that wasn't a real quarterback battle, and I feel like that's the closest we've had in a minute. I searched best quarterback battles in the last 20 years. The 33rd team wrote an article about this in 2020, June of 2022. Here are the 5 quarterback battles that they had that year. You ready for this? Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay.
Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold and Matt Corral in Carolina. Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. Drew Lock and Geno Smith. So
Forgot about Trubisky in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Oh, remember they signed him too, and it was like, oh, they really like Trubisky. They really like Trubisky.
And who was the last one? You said Drew Lock and Geno?
Geno. And that's where Geno ended up. And I think that's
the first year of the post-Russ era.
Correct.
In Seattle.
And I think that might be the last legitimate quarterback battle that wasn't a veteran incumbent and then a rookie coming in. Like, that was actually 2 veterans fighting it out for who was going to be the starting quarterback.
Sorry, can you run through? I know you said Trubisky, Pickett. You said Geno, Drew Lock.
Sam Darnold, Matt Corral.
Darnold, Corral, Mariota, and Ridder. And then what was the other one?
Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay.
Which was a non-starter, which I'm sure this is already on that in the conversation because he was the 3rd overall pick in that draft.
So 5 quarterback competitions, legitimate ones in one season, only one of those had any sort of resolution that benefited the football team, right? Geno Smith. Geno Smith did good things with the Seattle Seahawks. Went to the play. We can all say the Geno Smith experience in Seattle far exceeded any expectations, the highest of expectations, right? For what he was at that point in his career as a journeyman perennial backup. So of those 5, only one turned out to be a good situation for that football team. So, number one, it's rare to have a quarterback competition. Number two, it's rare to go into a season not knowing who your starting quarterback is and end up on the right side of it. So it's not an advantageous spot for the Indianapolis Colts to be in. Not to knock any moves that they made. I kind of like bringing in Daniel Jones as a potential reclamation project and see what Shane Steichen can do with him and his dual threat ability and give Anthony Richardson some competition, which it seems like he's desperately needed over the last couple of years. Like, if you're Anthony Richardson, Robert, do you run to the sideline and take a knee to take a break for a play if you're locked into a quarterback battle with Daniel Jones?
Right. Well, you don't want to give Vanilla Vic the opportunity to go out there and best you.
Exactly.
But also, I think adding Daniel Jones, where everyone wants to make quips about him, like, he's not that good. His preparation was always great. Yeah, everyone always talked about how great he was before games, even at Duke. That's the whole reason he was a first-round pick. So having someone like that in that room so it can be a lead by example so Anthony Richardson can see how someone else prepares that is actually an NFL caliber quarterback, maybe not a franchise quarterback, but someone who is worthy of playing in the NFL, that could do a lot of good for him. Whether it pushes him or what he takes from that, rather, whether it's good or bad, that's on him. But I do like putting him in that position. Also wanted to note Joseph probably gave us the correct answer to the last real quarterback battle. In 2024 with the Raiders, Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell as a rookie, and then Desmond Ridder, who they acquired from the Falcons. Yeah. That was it might not have been the most fun quarterback battle, but it was a legitimate battle.
Not the most inspiring, right? Yeah, you got journeyman backup in Minshew. You've got late round pick rookie. What was O'Connell? A fifth round pick. And Desmond Ridder, who you're trying to reclaim, that didn't go well in Atlanta. They gave him his shot.
Who Ridder, by the way, is participating in Broncos rookie minicamp. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Man. Dude who was a starter for the Falcons for like 7 or 8 games that year. Now he's participating in a rookie minicamp trying to get a spot. Appreciate the hustle, though. Appreciate the hustle.
They tried the see what you got with Desmond Ridder, much like the Titans did with Will Levis. It did not go well. Let me remind you, homeowners, DIYers, and dreamers, to join 3HL at the Murfreesboro Home Expo this Friday, today, at the Embassy Suites by Hilton, sponsored by Wright Construction of Tennessee. From home automation, security, remodeling, and design, the Home Expo is the place to find just what you're looking for. Admission and parking, totally free. To learn more, visit 1045thezone.com/events. Again, 3HL, live from 3 to 6 at the Murfreesboro Home Expo later today. Expo, I should say, at the Embassy Suites by Hilton, sponsored by Wright Construction of Tennessee. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. So the Colts are the most obvious. And then there's the Cleveland Browns. Has to be the 2 most interesting quarterback situations in the NFL, Colts and Browns. With Cleveland and the million quarterbacks they have on their roster, Flacco, Pickett, Sanders, Gabriel, Deshaun Watson, a non-factor. Joe Flacco, we believe to be in the driver's seat there, right? But how much are we looking at that situation in Cleveland as a legitimate quarterback competition? Like, Flacco can be in the driver's seat, and there can still be kind of a school of thought that, man, wouldn't it be great if Shador just grabbed that offense and proved everybody wrong, and suddenly week 1, Shador Sanders is your starting quarterback?
Has there ever been a time when the Cleveland Browns are the most interesting preseason team to watch? Their games and the way the quarterback snaps are split is going to be so intriguing. Like, how much run does Dylan Gabriel get? How much? I mean, obviously, everyone on the outside that is in the lesser know, like we are, before the draft, thought Shador that was the second overall quarterback prospect. So now is Cleveland excited to have him? Judging by their draft room after selecting him, they are not. How much run does he get? You have 5 quarterbacks. That's so many dudes to get reps with practice split up. Do you trust that Flacco has the experience to go out there and sling it without getting a ton of reps with the ones? That seems like a plan for disaster, if you're asking me. You have to give your number 1 quarterback the run with the ones.
Well, that's the thing. It's not crazy to go into training camp with 4 quarterbacks. The Titans are going to do it, right? Levis, Boyle, Brandon Allen, Kim Ward, all on this roster. But when we're going into preseason games, do we really care to see Tim Boyle with respect to Tim Boyle in a preseason game, right?
No, it's the ass end of the game.
Exactly.
You're ready to see. He's out there throwing to UDFAs and whatnot.
But with the Browns, like, I want to see all of these guys. I mean, there's not enough reps for these guys that if I'm a Browns fan, I want to see. If I'm a Browns staffer, that I want to see in a game environment in the preseason. So I think you're right. The Cleveland Browns have to be the most interesting team in the NFL preseason in 2025.
I also think that since no one took me up on my $100 bet yesterday that Joe Flacco would be the Week 1 starter, I'd like to recant that statement. I could see a world where Kenny Pickett could be the Week 1 starter given the investment they had to trade for him from the Philadelphia Eagles. If you're going to give that up to somebody, I could see a scenario where they're like, let's see what this kid has. Because obviously we know what Flacco is. Let's see if this guy can give us a level above, a rung above what Flacco can provide.
And then there's another situation that's not an out-and-out competition. A starter has been named, in fact, and that's the New York Giants, who have told us, no, Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback. But is there a franchise in the NFL in 2025 that is more eager to see their young quarterback in the wings usurp the starter than the Giants with Jackson Dart behind Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston just kind of there?
I don't think so, but I'll accept that, and then I will raise you. Is there a team in the NFL that would like to put their head coach and general manager in a worse position? There was some new audio that came out today from New York Giants draft insider background. Watch what we did during the draft, and this clip is oddly, it kind of reminded me of the Titans a little bit. Yeah, you haven't heard this yet.
I have not.
This was Joe Shane during the draft.
If we can, but Pittsburgh's a quarterback-needy team, but they're looking to move back too, so nobody's going to remember a third-round pick if you're right. So you guys are convicted in him. You believe in him. We did the process. He checked all the boxes. Roll the dice. Roll the dice.
Roll those dice. But everyone will remember it if you are wrong, i.e. Will Levis. Like, all we talked about in the offseason is they got to get that third-round pick back, man. We got to get him a third-round pick. If you are right, you're correct. No one goes back on history and rewrites for the victors. But if you are wrong, your son is like, you should have drafted Jaden Daniels, Dad. I told you. You're going to listen to that every Thanksgiving, every time he comes home from college. Oh, how's it working at the accounting firm, Joe? He doesn't even call him Dad anymore.
He's Joe because of the way he botched the Giants.
Joe Schmo, man. You only get this job once, and you'll never get another one. I told you, Dad.
Yeah, I got fired from the NFL. My 12-year-old son's calling me by my government name. Things aren't so hot.
That's great.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously they want Jackson. The best-case scenario for the New York Giants is not that Russell Wilson's their best option in Week 8. That's not what it is. They've got to have something. They've got to have a lifeline. So that is not an out-and-out quarterback competition, but it's one you have an eye on, right, as a quarterback scenario that we know how the team wants it to play out. We don't know how it will play out for a guy like Jackson Dart that has to make that transition from the Lane Kiffin offense to the NFL. Brandon on the F&M Bank chat says, Kenny Pickett is the betting favorite on DraftKings.
Well, you should have took my bet.
To start for the Browns. Maybe we make that a poll question. Who in the world? I don't know if there are enough submissions to put all the Browns candidates to be starting quarterback in there. Who in the world starts for the Cleveland Browns Week 1? Week 1, Kenny Pickett, the betting favorite. So you've recanted your prediction that it's Joe Flacco, slam dunk. You're leaning more towards Pickett.
No, I think I'm probably 60-40. I still think Flacco starts Week 1, but I could see a world where Kenny Pickett does start. If he comes out there, looks great in practice, Stefanski's a big fan, and he sees the growth opportunity post Deshaun Watson contract with Kenny Pickett, I think he would like to keep him. And I think that there is more you could learn about Kenny Pickett from him starting than you could if Joe Flacco was starting. Now, if you have to appease Myles Garrett and you have to put the best guy on the field for the job, then it's probably Joe Flacco. 39,000-year-old Joe Flacco.
Okay, so we have the Browns, who have 4 quarterbacks that feasibly could start games for them this season. 4. The New York Giants, who have their starter, but we all understand what they want out of the Jackson Dart experience, and for Joe Shane and Brian Daboll, sooner than later, would be better. The Indianapolis Colts here in the AFC South, who are just having a straight-up duel between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. They probably have their biases on who they would like to win the job, and that'd be Richardson, but it won't be handed to him the way it was the last 2 years, each of the last 2 years, since he was drafted in the top 5. And then there's the New Orleans Saints. And we talked a lot about the weird Derek Carr shoulder injury thing yesterday. Tyler Shuck, the second-round pick, Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener kind of just hanging out in that quarterback room. Is that an underrated spot to look at as a legitimate quarterback competition for 2025? Is it such a slam dunk that if Derek Carr is even healthy, that he starts week one? I mean, if you're talking about maybe missing the entirety of the 2025 season in May and April, then in what world should I expect you to be healthy for week one? Right?
I wonder if that is incumbent on if he gets a surgery, a season-ending surgery. Like, he could tough his way through it. If he's healthy week one, they're paying him a lot of money. He should start week one. Through just looking at how they treated quarterbacks the last few years, you have to think that Jake Haener is the lowest guy on the totem pole. They're going to Spencer Rattler to play quarterback in relief of Derek Carr. And then you invest a second-round pick. I believe it's like 40th overall, 41st overall, something like that. Selecting a quarterback, that guy's got to be in your plans to play. And that was the whole benefit of drafting a guy like Shuck, right? Is that, he may be older, but he's closer to a finished product than any of these other rookie quarterbacks. His ceiling and floor are closer than any of these other quarterbacks. So you're selecting a guy that high, you got to think that he would play a part in it if Derek Carr is not healthy.
You know what it kind of reminds you of? The Titans and what they did drafting Will Levis in the second round. Tyler Shuck was not... he wasn't in attendance right in the first round of the draft. Will Levis was thought to be a top 5 pick and falls out of the first round entirely. Tyler Shuck, it was no slam dunk that Tyler Shuck was going to be a first rounder. Probably would have caught some folks by surprise, but there wasn't a lack of conversation about, hey, Tyler Shuck could sneak into this thing. Don't be blindsided if Tyler Shuck is a first round pick. I'm just saying that was part of the discourse. It wasn't expected, but we knew Tyler Shuck was viewed pretty favorably in the pre-draft process. And he goes in the second round about where he was expected to go, 40th overall. So he's drafted into a situation with a veteran quarterback that has dealt with injuries in recent years, like Will Levis, drafted into a spot where Ryan Tannehill is dealing with recent injuries and is going into the following season as the incumbent starter, but we just know Will Levis is there. And there's enough bad football, injury-riddled football from Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis, for that matter. We forget that Levis was the third quarterback to rotate in that season before Will Levis got his shot. So Tyler Shuck enters a situation in New Orleans with an aging, injured quarterback, literally injured right now, according to him, Derek Carr. And you feel pretty good about the idea that Tyler Shuck will have a legitimate opportunity to start some games. The 25-year-old who will be 26 early in the regular season. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. We are live on 1045 The Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. And then there's the Titans. We know Cam Ward is going to be the starting quarterback in 2025. Titans are not ready to commit to that as much. It's interesting to watch how NFL teams attack these things differently. I remember us making fun of Urban Meyer in Jacksonville with this faux quarterback competition between number 1 overall pick Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew at the time, and everybody knew how that was going to end. Fast forward to the Chicago Bears taking Caleb Williams with the number 1 overall pick. And Matt Eberflus, no hesitation. In his words, no conversation. Caleb Williams is the starting quarterback from day one in Chicago. And then there's Brian Callahan, who is asked about how reps will be divvied up in the quarterback room between Cam Ward, Will Levis, Brandon Allen, and Tim Boyle. And this is what the Titans coach had to say last week.
Yeah, they'll have plenty of opportunities. How those reps get shaken out will sort of be determined by how they perform when given opportunities. That part of it's been thought out. We have a plan in place, and what that looks like is going to ultimately be sort of up to them, and how their performance goes when there's time to perform. So, feel good about the process and the plan in place, and there's going to be plenty of reps for those guys to compete and get better and improve and be ready to play in September. So, starting off early on here is baby steps to some degree.
When you say those guys, which guys are you referring to?
All the quarterbacks. Yeah, they're all going to have opportunities to compete, and again, there's 3 quarterback jobs on most teams, sometimes 4, and we're going to let them compete for all those.
So there was some reaction to that. I even saw Rich Eisen talking about it when Brian Callahan acting like there's going to be a quarterback competition. Personally, I have no problem with Callahan setting up the parameters of a competition with this wink, wink. Yeah, Cam Ward already, you could argue, is the best quarterback in that room and has a fast track to land the job. Coaches handle it differently. I would have no problem, too, with just the fast track of, no, there's no conversation. He's the number one pick. But this is a different scenario from what the Chicago Bears had. The Titans have multiple quarterbacks in that room, including a guy in Will Levis, who they have promised will have an opportunity to compete. So I have no problem with them setting up those parameters, even if we all know what's going to happen here.
I'm a person who tells the truth, and I would like to promise you that we aren't going to talk about Belichick anymore today, but that would be a lie because Carolina has put out a statement saying that Belichick's girlfriend is, quote, welcome at the football facilities after an earlier report. This is getting so disgustingly messy.
And you know what? This was messy from the jump, from the lead up to hiring Belichick. Like, we talked about this with you, right? The I don't want to say split between the powers that be at UNC, but maybe that would be the right way to say it, on the decision to fire Mac Brown, leading into the decision to hire Bill Belichick. I mean, you know, you used to do radio in North Carolina. You grew up in, you know that market. That was the discourse, right? That it was not
just the discourse
anything
between
close
the
to a
fans.
consensus.
That was the discord between the board of trustees.
The powers that be.
Yes, right. That was like, hey, half the room wanted Bill Belichick, half the room wanted to keep Mac Brown. That's why the parting with Mac was, I wouldn't say ugly, but a little disputed. And now that other half of the room has to be seething. Like, we knew this was going to happen. You guys invited the circus here. Carolina is a lot like Tennessee, in my opinion, in the fact of everything is within the family.
Yeah.
You know, when Carolina hires basketball coaches, they're hiring people who have either worked with another coach, worked at the school, understand the surroundings. So for them to be brazen enough to welcome an outsider in to come and do this, and then for it to have egg on their face before they take a snap of football.
We'll read the statement from Carolina Athletics about Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. We'll also give you an SEC stat of the day. Pretty big baseball series happening on the east side of the state between two in-state programs. We'll do that next on 104.5 The Zone.
we love being part of the moments that matter, which is why we're announcing employee pricing for everyone. You pay what we pay. Employee pricing at Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned, American made.
All right, let's talk about a huge series taking place in Knoxville. We haven't done a lot of college baseball this season. Have not done a lot of college baseball. Tennessee sliding a little bit. Vanderbilt playing better. They go head-to-head for a 3-game series. You can hear those games right here on The Zone, courtesy of the Vol Network. But first, we got to pay this off. UNC has put out a statement. If you missed it off the top of the show, we played the audio from Pablo Torre reporting that Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, is banned from UNC football facilities and any involvement with the program. That obviously prompted a lot of reaction. I know we've talked a lot about the Bill Belichick situation, but this thing just keeps spinning, and now UNC has put out a statement. This is from Nicole Auerbach. She put out the screenshot of the statement from Carolina Athletics. Quote, while Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the university or Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university.
Signed, Jordan Hudson.
Yeah. Can we get the picture of her holding whatever Carolina official at gunpoint?
You miss
to
all the shots
statement?
you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
I mean, there's such a great irony in all of this, too, in that the entire discussion around Bill Belichick and his program has nothing to do with football. It just feels like the antithesis of what we learned Bill Belichick to be for years. I mean, he was the Nick Saban of college football, or of the NFL, right? And vice versa. The way they operate, they work together, close friends. Did you ever watch the HBO sit-down documentary of just them two just talking?
No.
It was fantastic. It was incredible. Just hearing them tell stories about their days together in Cleveland and just how they operate as coaches at different levels and how much they've corresponded over the years with Alabama players going to play for New England. This is all so antithetical to what Bill Belichick, what we thought Bill Belichick was as a coach, as a person, the no-nonsense, no distractions type of coach. And all we're talking about is his 24-year-old girlfriend's involvement in the program. It's crazy. It's just still hard to wrap your head around.
Last question, and then I want to get to some Vols baseball. What is a worse scenario for this narrative to continue and to dominate the news cycle? If Carolina is good in football this year or if Carolina is bad? Because I feel like it could have a Brittany Mahomes-esque impact if they are good. And then everyone's like, oh, I'm so tired of this chick. If they're good. If they're bad, I think it's just more of the same, more of whining and crying coming out of the program. I don't know which I would rather.
Well, that's the thing. They can be bad this year, and it'll be talked about as this huge disaster, right? All the PR mess about his girlfriend, and now they're not good, and they're trying to revolutionize the sport. But the reality is, Bill Belichick wasn't going to hit the ground running with a 10-win season at UNC, right? If they're 4-8, 5-7, then to me that's as expected. When you're replacing so many foundational pillars of a program, literally changing every facet of how a program operates. I don't want to say it like Mac Brown was operating in the dark ages. To be honest, Mac Brown revitalized his coaching career in a way that many didn't expect at North Carolina. It had a general manager, Billy High, who is now part of Tennessee's network of staffers under Josh Heupel in a player personnel role. So it's not like Mac Brown set North Carolina back into the 80s. In fact, I think he did as good a job as you could have possibly hoped for someone of Mac Brown's age and just where he was at that point in his career to bring UNC up to speed as much as possible. But still, they're operating very, very differently. This is a huge turnaround. The roster is getting flipped, all of these things. They were never going to hit the ground running. So I feel like, Robert, if they don't succeed in year one, we're going to have to brace ourselves for what an abject disaster. This whole thing is a failure. And that's not the case. Like, the story's not written on Bill Belichick if North Carolina is not competing for an ACC championship in year one, right? It's going to take longer than that. But
That's all the Belichick I can stomach.
I know.
Give me some baseball.
615-737-1045 if you do want to jump in on that discussion. We will get to your phone calls here. But there is a big series as Tennessee baseball has lost 3 straight SEC series to Kentucky, LSU, and Auburn heading into this matchup this weekend against Vanderbilt. Bats have gone cold. Defensive miscues have plagued the Vols. They've lost 4 of their last 5 series. They have not won back-to-back games since April 18th. So the last time Tennessee baseball lost 3 straight SEC series, 2023, heading into the series against Vanderbilt in Knoxville. And that was a sweep of the Commodores in late April. It was a sweep that really turned the season around for Tennessee, and they made it to Omaha from there. Vanderbilt, coming off a series win against Alabama, they're up to their highest ranking of the season at the number 10 team in the country. Tennessee, number 12 per D1 baseball. 2 of the best pitching staffs in the country. And for me, baseball is the best version of the Tennessee-Vanderbilt rivalry. It's not close. I love that the rivalry has recaptured some juice on the basketball court. Football, obviously, there was that decade of Vanderbilt winning 6 out of 10, and the rivalry had some there as Tennessee was in the depths, as we know. But to me, there is no more juice in this rivalry than on the diamond. When you have at this point, 2 powerhouse programs, 2 contenders year in and year out. So we'll have it for you. 4:30 is the first pitch, early first pitch this afternoon in Knoxville. We will join the game in progress right here on The Zone. The Vol Network call will come on at 6, right at the end of 3HL. You can hear Game 2 tomorrow at 4 p.m., Game 3 on Sunday at 2 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone. So we will see if Tennessee can reverse its fortunes against Vanderbilt this weekend the way they did in 2023. 615-737-1045. There are a lot of developments bubbling under the surface in college football that will change the sport just in the next 2 to 3 years that heavily involve the SEC. We'll get to that and your phone calls coming up next on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, guys, it's Lucas telling you to grab your friends and bring them next Saturday, May 17th, to Game Terminal's 4th annual Beerfest. I can't wait. I'll be there. We'll have friends. Robert will be there. And you might hear Beerfest, but it's more than just beer. Get ready for a day filled with beer, cider, and alcohol tastings at an unforgettable in-person festival. We're talking about that 8,000 square foot back patio at Game Terminal that will house over 35 tastings of alcohol across a growing list of over 20 different vendors. There will be music with a DJ, games, fun, excitement. $40 online, $50 at the door. 1045thezone.com is how you get tickets, beer tastings, a gift bag, and swag, all included with your purchase, and it's for charity. Proceeds will benefit the Nashville Humane Society. If you haven't been to Game Terminal, check it out. Nashville's largest arcade with over 250 games spanning 40 years. Everything you've ever wanted to play. And, of course, that back patio, you can enjoy the sunshine, play some cornhole, some ping pong, and taste all the beer, liquor, and cider that you could possibly want. It's going to be a great afternoon. Again, May 17th, 2 to 6 p.m. I will see you at Beerfest at Game Terminal.
What's going on? Just a little bit before 11 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. On Thursday, the Titans reached deals with the following players for rookie contracts: safety Kevin Winston Jr., receiver Alec Iamaner, guard Jackson Slater, cornerback Marcus Harris, and running back Khalil Mullings. Members of the 9-player draft class alongside the team's undrafted free agents arrived in Nashville on Thursday for rookie minicamp. The team is scheduled to practice on Friday and Saturday at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. We will give you updates as needed from that. Timberwolves knocked off the Steph Curry-less Warriors last night, 117-93. Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle combining for 24 points. Tonight, you got 2 game threes. Cavs and Pacers tip off at 6:30. Thunder and Nuggets at 9:30. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
We might be drawing closer to a 16-team college football playoff bracket. There's reporting on that from Ross Dellinger, and it could be right around the corner. We'll give you the details on that here in just a little bit. But first to the phone, 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Welcome back. Lucas Panzica with you until 1 o'clock. Robert Walsh along as well. Glad to have you with us on this Friday. Let's go to Harmon up first, who chimes in on the Bill Belichick discussion. If you missed it, Pablo Torre on his podcast reported that Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, is banned from North Carolina's football facility. UNC has come out with a statement that that is indeed not the case. Harmon in Nashville is next. Hey, Harmon.
Hey, guys. My wife has a theory on what's going on with Bill Belichick, and she's a nurse. She's worked in memory care, et cetera. And she said, she was his girlfriend back in New England, and you didn't hear anything. You really didn't hear a whole lot about her being involved, et cetera. But all of a sudden she is, and she said, he could be one of those people that is undergoing the first stages of, I don't know whether it's Alzheimer's or dementia or what have you, but like we're starting to lose his memory a little bit, needs guidance and things. And so she's kind of already there, and she's like, well, I'll handle this for you. You don't want to quit coaching. He's not bad off enough to where people are saying, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, that, or the other. So we're going to kind of keep it hush-hush. You can still do what you want to do, but I'll be there. I'll be hands-on and helping you through everything and make sure this doesn't get out.
Playing you off with the X-Files there, Harmon. All right. That's the theory. Look, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to try to come up with conspiracies about Bill Belichick's mental faculties. You and your wife are entitled to that, but we're not going to do that here on the show. So we'll play you off with the X-Files instead of the Oscars music there. Larissa is up next in Nashville. Hey, Larissa.
Hi, guys. You guys are holding it down that Buck isn't there.
Oh, it's a lovely day.
Great show. He's missed, but you guys are doing a great job as well. I do want to just kind of touch on two things. Is there really going to be a QB challenge for the Tennessee Titans? Come on. I think everyone's even tilting their head going, really? I'm sure Will Levis has, been sharpening his skills like anyone would. But real quickly, I'm going to hit on that Bill Belichick because I don't want to get signed off with the Oscar music. And we all know what that is. This woman is dating a man 50 years older. Come on now. And his name isn't Bill Smith. No disrespect to any Bill Smiths out there. I'm sure you guys are all nice people and very successful. It's Bill Belichick. And she seemingly has her strings like a puppet master. She probably calls him Billy or William. But this is such a sports opera, and it's hilarious. I'm going to hang up and listen.
Thank you for the call, Larissa.
Oh, no, what a terrible image is in my mind now. Oh, Willie, come back to bed, Willie.
Bill Belichick's government name is William Stephen Belichick. Do you think she calls him William Steven when she's upset at him? This is where it starts to feel weird. Like, now we're starting to get into, like, the person. Thank you for the call, Larissa. She dropped the 50 on us. That's great. 49 years older, though. 49, not 50. Would be weird if it was 50.
Yeah, that would be weird.
So this is where we start to, those lines start to get blurred, and now we're starting to make all these, coming up with all these theories about Bill Belichick and his personal life, but it is very much in the limelight right now. So, again, we're trying to avoid the Belichick discourse, but when this stuff keeps dropping, this is such a unique situation in college football, and it's honestly the most talked about storyline in college football at the moment, although it probably should be what we're about to tell you about Ross Dellinger. But quickly to what Larissa said on this faux quarterback competition, I don't believe that there's legitimate quarterback competition. Look, the Titans publicly have said they told Will Levis throughout this process he's going to get the chance to compete. So when they draft their quarterback number 1 overall, they can think that that's how it's going to shake out. The quarterback that comes in number 1 overall is going to compete, yes, and he's going to win the starting job. But I'm fine with them setting up the parameters that they laid out for Levis before they drafted the player, and that is he's going to get a chance to compete. The reality is Cam Ward is probably going to win the job. It's different from the Bears saying, no conversation, it's Caleb Williams. Do you remember who the backup was in Chicago last year for Caleb?
I'm not sure.
Who in the world was the Bills' backup quarterback last year? That is escaping me. But either way, it was a different situation, right? It was likely not a player that had been promised a competition at the quarterback position. So we all fully expect Cam Ward to be the starting quarterback. I'm not going to take too big an issue with them saying, yeah, look, he does have to earn it, and he likely will.
Mitchell Trubisky.
There you go, Mitch Trubisky. But everybody knew as soon as the Bears traded up for that number 1 overall pick, what the situation was, including Trubisky. Ross Dellinger is reporting that a 16-team college football playoff bracket is gaining support in the Big Ten and the SEC. Here's what it would look like. 4 bids to the SEC, 4 bids to the Big Ten, 2 bids to the ACC, 2 to the Big 12, 1 G6, no longer G5, but G6 bid, and 3 at-large bids. He says the Big Ten and SEC could have play-in games, essentially 3rd versus 6th and 4th versus 5th. So, Dellinger reported yesterday evening that the 4 power conference commissioners held an in-person meeting in New York on Thursday to discuss several issues, including this new playoff format, and that is what there is growing support for. He says the decision is expected over the next month or two. The Big Ten and SEC hold their spring meetings later this month, where the SEC is expected to seriously explore a 9-game conference schedule, a move that's contingent on a CFP format and negotiations with ESPN for more revenue. So ESPN, there's reporting that ESPN's more open to spending more on the SEC if they move to a 9-game format, which would be 3 fixed opponents year over year and the other 6 essentially rotating, as opposed to 1 fixed opponent, which would be the case in the 8-game format. So that's the latest from Ross Dellinger. It looks like we are closer than ever to a 16-team college football playoff, which would come into effect. I mean, it could come into effect as soon as 2026. So the question here is, how much does this fulfill the SEC and Big Ten, getting what they want, having 4 auto bids each and 3 at-large bids out there, which stands to reason that SEC and Big Ten teams would very much be in the running for those at-large bids. I mean, this year alone, that gets Ole Miss in, right? Teams that were left out. That gets Alabama in. Teams that were left out of the 12-team college football playoff format. Really, these next few months are as pivotal as any. You've got Nick Saban meeting with President Trump to talk about the future of college football. And then there's this NCAA House settlement revision that happened this week. We covered this a few weeks ago when Judge Claudia Wilkin overlooked the House settlement that, if you don't know, is between the NCAA and power conferences. And essentially, they are revising rules around roster limits that could appease federal Judge Claudia Wilkin with hopes that she will approve the House settlement that would have the NCAA pay out nearly $3 billion to current and former student athletes and institute revenue sharing in college sports. So that would mean regulations and guardrails around NIL. It would mean every school having a pot of money to pay student athletes however they so choose, divvy it up among their sports however they choose to do so, with supposed regulations around NIL. What that actually looks like, I don't think anybody knows. And the hang-up for Judge Wilkin in that settlement that would officially institute revenue sharing in college sports was she ordered both parties to revise the roster limits portion of the settlement argument. As is, it would cost thousands of current student athletes their roster spots. Essentially, they're saying that do away with scholarship limits, but have limits on a roster would also do away with walk-ons in college athletics. So you can hand out as many scholarships as you want. Your roster just can't exceed this size. And Judge Wilkin was saying, well, the problem is if we institute that in 2025, suddenly there are thousands of student athletes across the country, walk-ons or otherwise, that are on the outside looking in. Their roster spot is officially slashed. So the revision that was made says schools would be permitted to grandfather in a range of athletes to essentially remain exempt from the new roster limits. So athletes that are currently on a roster, athletes who have already been cut this year, high school recruits who have enrolled at a school to play a sport only to see their roster spot eliminated with this settlement, would be grandfathered in and would still have their spot. Even athletes that are transferring would remain exempt from these roster limits for the rest of their eligibility. So the goal is to avoid current student athletes losing their spot and having the rug pulled out from under them because of this settlement. So essentially, to phase us into this new era with no scholarship limits, but roster limits. So we're waiting on Wilkin. That feels like a name of a Judge TV show. Waiting on Wilkin to lay down the hammer and tell us if this settlement will be approved, and it'll be a huge development for college sports. It will mean finally revenue sharing, and then we can at least go to the next step and the next step. The problem is, Robert, it's just an endless staircase that you're looking at, and I have no idea where the end is. Right now, college athletics feels like a cat chasing a laser pointer. You know what I mean? Like, you're chasing it, and you think you've caught it, but you really haven't, and you probably never will. Like, I don't know what the end is in sight, because we can get through this settlement, and great. All these current and former student athletes get some of the money that they didn't otherwise get because they played pre-NIL era, and we've got revenue sharing, and NIL is somehow regulated. But, okay, how is NIL regulated at that point? All right, and then down the road, do we look at a CBA? How do you institute a CBA in a sport where players have 4 to 5 years of eligibility, and there's just constant churn when you have NFLPA representatives that are in the NFL for years and years and are able to have some sort of continuity with that organization?
It seems to me like, or at least on the outside looking in, I wish they would take a proactive action to this and fail forward rather than be stuck in indecision, if that makes sense. Like, let's just, okay, come up with an idea, and if it sucks, we'll fix it. We'll change it to make it what it's supposed to be. Like, it just seems like we're just going to go back and forth on stuff like this for forever until we hit, we're waiting for the perfect solution. Well, there's not a perfect solution because we don't know what's necessary yet. Like, let's try things, figure out what's right and wrong, and then adapt to that.
Shane says, at what point do they stop this nonsense? They want a 16-team college football playoff. Next, they want 24, and so on. Yeah, I think everybody's just ready for an end in sight. Everybody's just ready to know what this is going to be. What is this sport going to be? And there doesn't seem to be much of an end in sight.
That's okay, though. Listen, when it ends up being a full, there's no more divisions, no more conferences, no more this, and the whole season is just a win and go on, lose, go home tournament to name the national championship. The Akron Zips are fighting their way through the tournament.
Well, no, the Akron Zips I
forgot their academic standards.
Their grades are too bad. They might not play football this year. They're already bowl eligible for 2025.
They zagged when they should have zipped, man. Come on.
And it brings me back to, again, the Bill Belichick conversation. When Belichick took that job, there was a school of thought of, well, this makes sense that college football is more like the NFL than ever. And it is simply in the fact that players are getting paid, and we all know it. But that is the only way right now that it is similar to the NFL. I am so tired of this discourse that not of the discourse that college football is trying to become the NFL. Okay, I'll hear you on that. But that college football is more like an NFL model than ever before. I mean, sure, but also not at all. Like, Bill Belichick taking over North Carolina is not this seamless transition because college football is like the NFL now. He also has to deal with multiple portal windows, multiple opportunities for players to exercise leverage, players not being held whatsoever with any financial penalty to these contracts, where you have Arkansas now chasing after, what is it, 100 grand, 200 grand to the Iamaleava family because Madden shows up on campus. He's making a certain amount of NIL money, and then he bolts before he ever plays a snap for Arkansas. It's nothing like the NFL. The NFL has structure. It has guardrails. Again, college football is the cat chasing the laser pointer it's never going to catch. So that's just my mini rant. I would like for us to stop saying, well, it makes sense. More like the NFL than ever before when we see Ron Rivera now taking over as GM at Cat. Like, it's not even remotely close. The world they are coming from, to me, does not even remotely prepare them for the world that college football currently is, with 20-year-olds making scattershot decisions all over the place.
If the NFL reflected college football at this and you had to renegotiate with your entire team after every year with no guardrails, no salary cap, I guess there is a semblance of a salary cap in college now, but to have to go to somebody that you drafted and say, hey, don't go sign with that Super Bowl contender. Like, I know, Malik Neighbors, I know you would love to stay here with the New York Giants in the pit of misery, but please don't go to the Kansas City Chiefs. I know they want to give you a lot of money. It's nothing like that. There are parameters.
Let's ask Coach Dave McGinness about it. I'm sure he could give us some thoughts on that as more and more NFL coaches and executives migrate to the college game, and we'll also preview Rookie Minicamp. That's happening this weekend. Rookies at the Titans facility, and we will hear from them tomorrow. Coach Dave McGinness of Titans Radio joins us next on 104.5 The Zone. Oh, I love that music on a Friday. Titans Rookie Minicamp this weekend. Coach Dave McGinness of Titans Radio joining us, as he always does, presented by the fine folks at Two Rivers Ford each and every Friday. Coach Mack, just Robert and I today holding it down. A little breath of fresh air for us. Hope you're doing well.
Well, look, the show, just like I told Bert when he called, the show's in great hands right now. Great hands.
It was referred to as the A-team yesterday, Coach. I don't know if I would go that far. I mean, not that it's the A-team when Buck is here, but people are saying. So we appreciate you taking the time with us, no matter who is holding it down here in this time slot. Rookie minicamp around the corner, Coach. I mean, tons of questions for you just from a head coach's perspective on what you're trying to learn, an assistant coach's perspective about these rookies. But first, the breaking news during the show yesterday, Coach, was the white smoke going through the chimney at the Vatican. An American Pope. I'm sure we didn't expect to start the segment this way, but given that Pope Leo XIV is a Chicago native, the first thing I thought, Coach Mack, is surely Coach Dave McGinness has had some sort of run-in with Pope Leo XIV during his many years in Chicago.
Yeah, of course, being a born and raised Catholic, I mean, that's clearly, I mean, it's even more than a big deal. And of course, the first American Pope. I mean, that's pretty incredible. If you've ever been to the Vatican, you ever been to the Vatican? You ever been to Rome to the Vatican?
I've been lucky enough to go to the Vatican. Yes.
So you understand. I mean, just the spectacle that really is. If you've been on the grounds up there and understand it. Yeah, the first question in my mind is, he a White Sox or a Cubs fan?
Yeah, that was everybody's question. And we got the answer. Apparently, the answer is White Sox. No word on if he was a Bears fan, Coach, but I guess you never came across John Prevost during your time in Chicago.
Everybody in Chicago is a Bears fan.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you that from experience.
Fair enough. And we were talking about the Bears quarterback situation last year and the way that they handled going into the season. Matt Eberflus, Coach Mack, when they drafted Caleb Williams, obviously Eberflus now fired, but saying at the time, no conversation, Caleb's the starter. And it's been contrasted to Brian Callahan's remarks about Cam Ward needing to earn every rep and going to earn every opportunity that he gets. And you guys, when you were with the Rams, drafting Jared Goff #1 overall, obviously he didn't start day one. Case Keenum was the guy until Jared came in later in the year. I mean, every situation is so different, but as a coaching staff, what kind of parameters do you feel like are set up to put a quarterback in the most healthy situation possible? And how much does it differ in the different situations that you've been in, given what a quarterback is ready for and what the message is to the rest of the quarterback room?
Well, they all need to develop when they're coming in, but it's not only for the quarterback room. It's a message for the whole team. And the first thing that Brian Callahan has said, I mean, I had a nice visit yesterday at practice with Mike Morganzi and with Chad Brinker. I mean, they're all on board that this guy is that they just drafted is a special talent. But you want these guys to come in and be able to get both feet on the ground to get a solid base to start learning. And plus, it's good for your locker room. A locker room, you can't fool an NFL locker room. They're going to know who the guy's going to be pretty quickly, but the person has to demonstrate the ability to earn it. And that's extremely important because, I've never been involved in all of my years in this league and coaching as to where something was just given to somebody and the rest of the players just immediately accepted it. They know. They'll find out pretty quick, but it's got to be always has to be a meritocracy. Now, the length of the meritocracy is different in all places that I've been, but there's still a lot to learn for everybody, regardless of what their background is coming into the National Football League. It's different. It's a learning curve to begin with. So that's what he'll be on right now, is a learning curve.
So rookie minicamp in progress. Cam Ward starting that learning curve as we speak. Titans media will get a chance to take a look at rookie minicamp tomorrow afternoon. Coach, just as a staff, what are the number 1, 2, and 3 things you're trying to learn during rookie minicamp the first time you get these guys on campus at the facility?
Well, they spend a lot of time vetting these guys. I mean, they've met every one of them in person during the whole pre-draft process. They spend a lot of time talking about them, going up into the draft. And then clearly when you choose somebody, you've got to you think you've got a decent idea who they are, but until you get them on the grass, I mean, and you find out, you know, who can learn the quickest, how they incorporate themselves into the locker room, how they conduct themselves. And the one thing that you always wanted to learn about the rookies, the new guys, is how many guys can quickly not become repeat offenders. How quick can they pick it up? How quick can they assimilate what they're being taught and then put it into use? Look, these guys aren't in shape yet. That's why you don't put them with the vets immediately. They still, I mean, yesterday they started the indoctrination process with the physicals and everything else that you go through. It takes time to be able to get both your feet on the ground when you come into a NFL building, but you start to learn pretty quick. How are they in the meeting room? How do they learn? How are they going to be able to handle part of it? Because I can say with all truth that all of my years of coaching, there was a lot of players that had the physical ability to do it, but couldn't handle the mental grind of it, and couldn't be able to stack days one on top of the other with good progress. That's going to be important early on to find out.
Coach Dan McGinness of Titans Radio with us, presented by Two Rivers 4, Titans Rookie Minicamp going on. And to the quarterback position, specifically with Cam Ward, Coach, what kind of work are you able to get done in the early onset before you even really get an opportunity to ramp up the install? Like, specifically, what kind of things can this Titans coaching staff get their hands on with Cam Ward before he has a full grasp of the offense?
Well, I mean, Brian Callahan's already said, even in this pre-draft process, you know, in one of the private workouts, he started working on, you know, just a little tweak on his footwork. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to learn an offense. You're going to have to learn, you know, a whole new way as far as your teammates, those types of things. So, I mean, you start in with the fundamentals, and you're not trying to change anybody. You're trying to help everybody. That's what you're doing. And a quarterback especially, there's plenty to do. And here's the good thing about the rules now with the new CBA. These vets, I mean, I've been up there for phase 2, you know, watching them practice. I mean, they can only be in the building for so many hours of the day. Rooks, you can have them in there as long as they need to be, and they need to be in there a while. There's a lot that you can start working with them on from the ground up, I promise you.
And Cam Ward, a guy who's played so much football throughout his career, contrasted to Femi Oladejo, Coach, the second-round pick out of UCLA, who is drafted as an edge rusher, fills a big need for this team, but didn't start playing that position primarily until 3 games into last season at UCLA. I mean, what kind of contrast did you see there for a guy like Cam Ward to a guy like Oladejo in terms of the raw ability and the mountain that he has to climb to learn how to play edge rusher, just generally, much less at the NFL level?
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody comes in here with a different brand of experience on them, and you're right, those two guys. I mean, the quarterback has played a lot of football. Oladejo has played a lot of football. It's just he's been standing up, and then they moved him to the outside. I really liked his traits. You know, when I started watching him, I really am looking forward to watching him develop and to see. And I think that would be a progressive way that they will start to use him. But there are a lot of things. You've got a lot of tools to work with this guy, especially once you start refining what he's going to do coming off the edge, both against the run and the pass. I mean, I'm going to be really, really looking forward to watching this guy develop.
And then to the tight end room, Coach, we're going to talk later on about the Titans rookies that will have the most opportunity to make an impact, just given the situation around them on the depth chart at that respective position. Gunnar Helm gets drafted into a tight end room that obviously already includes Josh Wiley, Chikakonkwo, David Martin Robinson. What kind of traits do you see in Gunnar Helm that bring something new to the table in that tight end room?
Yeah, big catch radius. I liked him when we were vetting him during the draft. Big catch radius. He's the leading receiver down there at Texas, and they had a couple of dudes, you know, as receivers that could really fly. I mean, this guy is going to be I sat there and I was right there watching him when he rolled that ankle and still continued to work out there at the combine there in Lucas Oil Stadium. I just like the fact that he's going to be very, very viable for the quarterbacks in the middle of the football field, which is the clearest field of vision for quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks. But his catch radius and his ability, his run after catch is really good. He's demonstrated that. So I think he's going to get a chance pretty quickly to assimilate into this offense, just like you said.
Coach Dave McGinness with us, presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. So of the UDFAs brought in, Coach, obviously Xavier Restrepo took all the headlines, right, and that relationship with Cam Ward and the way he was campaigning for the Titans to bring in the Miami receiver, which they did. But going under the radar a little bit was the addition of offensive lineman Brandon Crenshaw Dixon out of Florida, Coach. Just the guaranteed money alone for an undrafted free agent. Tom Pelissero reporting $245,000 guaranteed for a UDFA, a $20,000 signing bonus. What does it say about Brandon Crenshaw Dixon when that figure pops up next to him coming in as a UDFA?
Well, that there's a lot of competition for him. I mean, I've been, again, the draft that goes on after the draft, that free agent frenzy, which is what it is. I mean, it's highly competitive. It's highly competitive. I would say there were more than several teams after this player. So that's what it normally points out to. He was clearly a Class A UDFA on everybody's board, across the league, because if somebody is getting that, in my experience, I think I'm pretty right. Somebody's getting that type of guaranteed money as a free agent. There's a lot of competition for him.
Is there a UDFA win, so to speak, that you can remember in your career that really sticks out as a guy that you guys loved and maybe would have considered drafting and you were able to land as a UDFA that ended up making an impact at any of your stops? Just curious if anyone sticks out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's several of them. I mean, Ron McKinnon, who came from out of North Alabama, I mean, I shook his name out of a shoebox when we'd taken all the magnetic name tags off the board and thrown them in a shoebox. I said, I still got to have another linebacker my first year there at Arizona. He ended up having a 12-year NFL career. So, I mean, I always kid him. He came in there driving a Pinto and left driving a Mercedes. So, I mean, there are absolutely a lot of those guys. I mean, after having done it for all the seasons that I did it as a coach, a lot of examples of those kind of really, and it's very true because I was in charge of most of the rookies in my later years of coaching, to a little indoctrination with them, and I'd tell them, look, it doesn't matter how you got in this building. You're in this building now. Take advantage of it.
How would you sum up just what coaches are trying to accomplish this week, Coach, with the rookies being the only ones on the field?
Well, just start them in the process of at least learning what the program is going to be as far as being a pro. That's what it is. That's what you're looking for. You're looking to find out, as I said, you're really trying to find out how many guys that seem to take to it pretty quickly. I mean, you can find out pretty quickly some of these guys that aren't overwhelmed by it, but that are just pretty solid, feet on the ground, and can absorb it pretty quickly. That's what you're looking for.
Coach Dave McGinness of Titans Radio, our guest. You can catch him out there at Titans Rookie Minicamp. Media will get a glimpse at this rookie class tomorrow afternoon. We'll hear from some of them, too, and the process starts for their NFL careers. Coach, always enjoy it. Appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Lucas, appreciate it. Bert, you guys are doing a great job as usual. See you.
Thank you, sir. Coach Dave McGinness of Titans Radio, presented by Two Rivers Ford.
I always said he was a smart man.
He is. Coach Dave McGinness. I mean, he's the first person I thought of when I saw that the Pope was from Chicago. First person I thought of.
Because Coach Mack knows everybody.
It was everybody. So I was half expecting Coach Dave McGinness to tell some story about grabbing dinner at one point with Pope Leo XIV. I don't know. He might have gotten out of there before Coach Mack got to Chicago in the 80s to coach the Bears. I think he went to Villanova in the 70s or something, went up to Philly to go to school.
You saw Austin Stanley's tweet about the connection of the Pope to Nashville.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. This is insane. There is...
Also, big ups to Austin for figuring this out.
How does this happen?
The digging that he must have had to do to come up with this. But
Austin Stanley of A to Z Sports has had a good week on Twitter, from the James Gladstone, Travis Hunter rant and putting that side by side with the Billy Madison rant about, what was it, the Industrial Revolution that we played on the air, and this random Titans Pope Leo XIV connection. Titans offensive line coach Bill Callahan went to high school with the Pope's brother and where the Pope's mom worked. He just says, carry on with your day. He's got the yearbook pictures to boot.
Yeah, and William was looking stout back then. He was probably a big lady killer.
One William Callahan. You know who? Bill Callahan's high school yearbook photo looks identical to Archie Manning, excuse me.
Really?
I mean, pull up Archie Manning at Ole Miss and tell me that is not exactly who Bill Callahan looks like. I mean, if you told me that was a picture of Archie Manning in the 60s, I'd believe you. Anyway. So, yeah, there's your 12th degree of Titans to the Vatican today. So we just got to this. This came out this week. Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, this offensive tackle out of Florida. For all the talk about Xavier Restrepo as the UDFA that kind of grabbed the most attention, and for a good reason, right? We understand how much Cam Ward relied on Restrepo at Miami. We saw the reaction when he got the phone call from the Titans. But could there be a situation where Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon actually has a better opportunity to make this roster than Restrepo? Are you finding me?
No, I was saying if that was the money would be a big reason
Yes.
as to why.
100%. I mean, $245,000 guaranteed for a UDFA. Like that, he'll do a double take at that.
I'd have done it for half that.
Hey, let's put up your pass set next to the 6'7", 316-pound San Diego State transfer to Florida, Crenshaw-Dixon. So he did spend the first 4 years of his career at San Diego State, played in 38 games there, 18 at right tackle, 17 at left tackle. And then he transfers to Florida, where this is according to Jim Wyatt. He led the team twice in highest PFF offense grade, along with allowing 0 sacks individually in his lone season at Florida, where he appeared in all 12 games in 2024. So he's gone up against Cam Ward, obviously not on the field at the same time. And then Dane Brugler, who you can always count on having a write-up on these guys. I mean, go all the way into the depths of the UDFAs. Dane Brugler probably evaluated him. Here is the athletics draft expert, Dane Brugler, on Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon. In summation, he says, Crenshaw-Dixon is an active blocker who should be able to weaponize his length with further coaching, although the rough patches in his game will require extra patience. He is a developmental option. Had him as a guy with the 7th-round grade. Said under strengths, he looks the part with a workable frame and growth potential. Long arms help him cover a wide perimeter. Enough body quickness to block backside zone or play side stretch. He says logged 47 starts with playing time on both the left and right side. Weaknesses, he says, high cut, uptight or upright playing style, lower body stiffness, encumbers his redirect skills. He'll be 24 on draft weekend. Hands start wide. They're often tardy in pass pro. So obviously a bit of a project, but obviously Bill Callahan loves this kid.
And I heard Will Bowling this morning on the morning show talking about No Flags Film. He does great stuff over there. Works for
James Foster.
James Foster works for the 33rd team, and said that he gave him the accolade heaviest hands in the class. And people that he was thinking about putting in that position if Crenshaw didn't get that selection, Will Campbell and Tyler Booker.
Yeah, a first round pick.
Top 12 picks.
Yeah.
Like you that's good company to be in for a UDFA. Whether if that's the one elite trait that he has, is he has the heaviest hands, that's something that Bill Callahan should be able to work with.
Yeah. And right now, we've talked about the starting 5 on this offensive line. But apart from that 5, who's your swing tackle? There is no favorite for that job right now. And it might be Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon. I mean, that might be your guy with the money that he's on as a UDFA. With that size, those traits, and Bill Callahan to work with him, I think Titans might have found their swing tackle and a guy that's played a lot on both sides, both at San Diego State and Florida, going up a level and playing to that level in the SEC. So that might be the most intriguing UDFA signing for the Titans, despite the fact that they brought in Xavier Restrepo, who is going to have every opportunity. And it's not like this wide receiver room is incredibly deep, but there's a lot of churn. I mean, just the battle there at the bottom of that depth chart. We'll see if Xavier Restrepo has an inside track. Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, in terms of what he's surrounded by or what he's not surrounded by in that competition, absolutely will have an inside track to not just make this roster, but to play significant snaps, potentially, as a rookie. Big pickup for the Titans in undrafted free agency. Do we have anything to give away for Friday Fire?
Nope.
No, call in anyway. 615-737-1045. Give us your most positive story in sports this week. Again, 615-737-1045. What made you smile? We'll do it next on 1045 The Zone.
Don't fake financial wherewithal. Make sure that you have Trajan Wealth on hand to walk you through the process, whether you're looking at trying a new investment strategy or just want to make sure that your retirement portfolio is ready to go. If you've got spring cleaning on the list to do, don't forget to refresh your finances while you're at it. Trajan Wealth can help you tidy up your wealth management strategy like they have helped so many other people do. The simple truth is that there is more to retirement planning than simply calculating your expenses. Trajan Wealth can help you design a strategy based on realistic options that align with your goals and circumstances. So call Trajan Wealth today and get on the right track. They got 2 locations in Brentwood and Franklin. The number is real easy, 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000, or visit them online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement.
See, now that's the type of production that you don't get anywhere else. That's why he's Big Boss Bert.
I was back here slaving over that like a hot stove.
615-737-1045 for you to jump in. Tell us what made you feel good, what made you smile in sports this week. Doesn't have to be in sports. It can just be in life. Lucas Panzica, Robert Walsh with you until 1 o'clock. Buck being gone, that could be your submission. It is in the F&M Bank chat. According to Tyler Dial, my Friday Fire, I'm going to have one actual submission, but I feel like I need to give it quickly to Zach Lyons, Robert, who just walked into the studio and unprompted gave you a very thoughtful gift.
It is, I'll show it on Zone TV. It is like one of those desk sliders. Like you'll put it up there and it'll be like, so-and-so, certified manager or something. But he got me this little desktopper. It says Big Boss Bert, producer, developer, lover.
It's amazing.
It's so thoughtful. I was
just out of nowhere. It's not your birthday.
I'm so used to people in this building just being hateful to one another. In passing, Buck just casually calling you a subhuman or something.
He'll be fuming.
Get your fat ass to the shadows. And then Zach just comes in here and gives me possibly the nicest.
It's
gift.
so nice. Is that mahogany? I mean, the wood itself is gorgeous.
It is that mahogany. It was very thoughtful. I appreciate Zach for that. Zach can be our honorary non-winner of Friday Fire.
That is fantastic. Buck can't even wrap his head around it. Doing something for someone else nice for no reason
in return.
What? No, that doesn't compute. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. We've talked about the Pope a lot here, so we'll make this the last bit of Pope content this week. But I love that immediately there's an American Pope, and he's from Chicago, and there's quickly a controversy about if the Pope is a Cubs or a White Sox fan. And there was controversy. At first, it was thought that he was a Cubs fan, but his brother came out in a TV interview in Chicago to make sure that we know that Pope Leo XIV is indeed a White Sox fan.
Clear up the thing about the Cubs and White Sox.
Yeah, he was never, ever a Cubs fan, so I don't know where that came from. He was always a Sox fan. Our mother was a Cubs fan. I don't know, maybe that clued in there. And our dad was a Cardinals fan, so I don't know where that all came from. And all the aunts, our mom's family was from the north side, so that's why they were Cubs fans.
But he rooted for the White Sox.
That's right. But where it came from, I don't know, because he would have been the only one.
So the controversy is settled, but that is controversy in and of itself to me. Mother a Cubs fan, father a Cardinals fan, that already adds some tension. Other members of extended family from the north side, Cubs fan, but he's a White Sox fan. And there is photo proof of the Pope at a White Sox World Series game in 2005. I saw somebody say on social media that Pope Leo XIV has had to have eaten more hot dogs than any of the 266 popes combined before him. What are the odds that any pope in the history of the world has ever had a hot dog? I mean, that's very
incredible.
Low to me.
I mean, maybe they've had one.
I don't know,
possibly
man.
two.
I
This
don't
guy's
know.
probably eating more dogs.
I mean, look, Pope Benedict was from Poland, so, the fair share of brats and sausage, but I'm talking about a ballpark dog. Surely Pope Leo XIV is the first. So that was my Friday Fire, the fact that his brother is speaking out, and the first thing that we have to know is what team he rooted for coming out of Chicago. That was phenomenal.
The only thing I didn't like was the interviewer. So stern.
Yeah.
She get right to the point.
Clear up the thing about the Cubs and White Sox. Clear up the thing about the Cubs and White Sox.
How about you just sit back and let this guy whose brother just got named one of the most powerful religious figures in the world?
I mean,
what team did he like? Tell us right now.
She's trying to get to the bottom of it. I mean, what do you want her to do?
Someone I would never take that tone with is my mother. This weekend is Mother's Day, in case you didn't know. If you forgot, you need to run out, get your mama some flowers, get her some wine, whatever your mama likes, you need to do it for her. And I'm reminded by that every year by Mr. T. Lucas, have you ever heard Mr. T's Mother's Day song?
No, please.
Well, I present to you Mr. T, Treat Your Mother Right. So treat her right. Treat her right. I'm sure the YouTube chat is complaining about not being able to hear
YouTube.
Yeah, well, I hate it for you. Pull the app up. I'm sorry. If you want to learn about it, if you'd like to have a good little laugh, I love Mr. T. I've always been fascinated by Mr. T. When I learned he had a Mother's Day song, I went and listened to it as like a 7th grader, learned it, and then performed it for my mother. With background singers that were also being performed by me. So my Friday Fire goes to my mama and Cheyenne's mama, who's in town this weekend. You're going to have a lot of fun. So
that's awesome.
Shout out to all the moms out there.
Shout out to the moms. Hey, I've got a good Mother's Day gift idea for you. Beerfest. Mom love beer. What about just cider, liquor? It's okay. Game Terminal, May 17th, 104.5 The Zone is teaming up with Game Terminal for their 4th annual Beer Fest. It's not just beer, it's cider, alcohol tastings. It's just going to be a great day of games, fun, sunshine on that gorgeous back patio at Game Terminal. Go inside with the biggest arcade bar that you will ever find. Buy your ticket now, $40 online, $50 at the door. Does Mom love animals? Because proceeds benefit the Nashville Humane Society. 1045thezone.com is where you can purchase tickets. 615-737-1045 for you to give us your Friday Fire. Before we go to the phones, I would like to give an honorable mention. I had the privilege last night of hosting Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Visionaries of the Year grand finale event out at Geodis Park. Always just incredibly fortunate to be a part of it. And the candidates, the 4 candidates that we were celebrating last night over the course of 10 weeks raised over $94,000 to go towards blood cancer research. And we raised $3,000 last night alone in our fundraising moment that kind of encapsulated the night. So $97,000, over $97,000 raised by LLS here in these last couple of months to help those suffering from all types of blood cancer. Just incredible stories being told. Always feel very fortunate to be a part of that. Okay, to the phone, 615-737-1045. Let's go to Amber up first in Nashville. Hey, Amber.
Hey, guys. My Friday Fire is that the Cleveland Browns posted on their TikTok, a TikTok of Shore Sanders, and I just think it's funny that they weren't willing to take him until the 5th round, but they sure are willing to use him for publicity. So that is my Friday Fire.
Oh, you betcha. Thanks for the call, Amber. That's a good submission. They are going to be quick to use. There's going to be plenty of Shedeur Sanders content throughout the course of rookie minicamp and training camp in Cleveland, you can bet. Matthew in Franklin's up next. Hey, Matthew.
Hey, good morning, brothers. I've got one on addition and subtraction.
Okay.
Addition of our first Catholic Pope. I'm a cradle Catholic. Subtraction. The host isn't on for 2 days. Amen. Praise the Lord.
That's what we call addition by subtraction, Matthew. Thank you. Great submission by Matthew in Franklin. If we had tickets, we'd give them to you.
If we had something to give away, God, I'd love to give it to you,
God,
man.
I wish we had something. I'm sorry. Oh, great stuff. So, Titans Rookie Minicamp happening right now, as we've talked about. The Titans rookies with the biggest chance to make an impact outside of Cam Ward. We'll talk about it next.
Event this Saturday from 9 to noon to celebrate Police Week. Blue and You is your chance to engage with local law enforcement and first responders. You can bring the kids to meet and mingle with the dedicated officers who work around the clock to keep our community safe. You can explore the inside of a police car, check out the tools of the trade, get to know the first responders of the Mount Juliet Police Department. There will be free items for the kids, free Chick-fil-A biscuits while supplies last from Chick-fil-A Providence, plus a chance to win great door prizes like a free oil change, family packs of tickets to the Nashville Zoo, and family packs of tickets to Holiday World Splash and Safari. Show your support and celebrate Police Week with Blue and You this Saturday, May 17th from 9 to 11 a.m. at Two Rivers Ford, 76 Belinda Parkway, Mount Juliet.
What's going on? Just about noon. Good afternoon, I reckon. Happy Friday from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. On Thursday, the Titans reached deals with the following players to complete rookie deals. Safety Kevin Winston Jr., receiver Alec Iamaner, guard Jackson Slater, cornerback Marcus Harris, and running back Kalel Mullings. Members of the nine-player draft class, along with the team's undrafted free agents, arrived in Nashville on Thursday for rookie minicamp. The team is scheduled to practice on Friday and Saturday at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. Timberwolves knocked off the Steph Curryless Warriors last night, 117-93. Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle combining for 24 points. But tonight, you got two game threes. Cavs and Pacers tip off at 6:30, with the Thunder and Nuggets following at 9:30. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
The draft class is in Nashville. Undrafted free agents, 16 of them signed by the Titans, and they are in action. Rookie minicamp happening at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. We'll get a glimpse at them tomorrow. Titans media will be in attendance. Brian Callahan will speak at noon. Players will speak after practice. So we ask you, which Titans rookie, besides Cam Ward, has the biggest opportunity to make an impact in 2025? 615-737-1045. Not necessarily the best player outside of Cam Ward, the best value that you think the Titans drafted. It can be that, but also consider what they're stepping into in regards to the position group, the depth or lack thereof in the room they're stepping into that would immediately lead to more opportunity that they would have to earn, yes, but the opportunity could absolutely be there for the likes of Femi Oladejo, the second-round pick, stepping into an edge rusher core that, as we know, is not inspiring at the moment. It's Arden Key. It's Draymond Jones, the free agent signing from Seattle. And then you get down to Jalen Harrell, seventh-round pick out of Michigan from the 2024 draft, and so on. Third-round pick, Kevin Winston Jr., the Penn State safety who missed the majority of last season with a partially torn ACL. Steps into a room. Could he make an impact alongside Amani Hooker immediately? The wide receivers, Iamaner and DK. The tight end, Gunnar Helm. Jackson Slater on the offensive line. Marcus Harris, the cornerback out of Cal. Kalel Mullings, the running back out of Michigan. And that's not even getting into the UDFAs. Want to hear from you. Again, we are on 104.5 The Zone TV as usual. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. I am hesitant to do this, Robert, but before we get into that discussion, Pablo Torre has responded. I'm sorry. I can't stay away from this thing. Has responded to the University of North Carolina coming out with a statement saying that Jordan Hudson is not banned from the facility the way that Torre reported that she is, that she, while not an employee of the university, does have freedom to work with the football program. In so many words, we can pull up the statement verbatim. I know a lot of you guys are tired of this, but we just keep getting developments. Quote, while Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the university or Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university. Pablo Torre, who reported that Hudson was banned from North Carolina's facility, responded, said, P.S., UNC can now choose to describe or change its position on Jordan Hudson's involvement however it wishes. Following the publication of our episode, we requested comment and filed dozens of Freedom of Information Act requests that were not satisfied, and we stand by the specific reporting in our episode, which came from the highest levels of the football program. He continues, we broke the news of an important meeting where UNC higher-ups told the football program that Jordan Hudson can't be around the facility anymore. Many people around the team heard that message very clearly. You can decide who to trust in terms of how the PR spin goes from here. So Torre is saying that they're switching up now and going back on what was apparently a mandate from the top of North Carolina's football program that Hudson was no longer allowed. This is an absolute mess.
And here, that's only what I thought me and you did. mandates.
Oh, stop that.
we got to take one. I told you about this great restaurant. But I know this is messy. I know we have to keep going back to it. But could this not have happened at a better time? Like, there is nothing going on.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. This is almost Michael Jordan documentary and COVID levels appreciated on my side.
You know what? It's in that stratosphere. I mean, that was a whole other situation, but yeah, Football Fred on the FNM Bank chat. So she's not banned? What is going on? Yeah, nobody knows. So I believe there is a lot of dysfunction right now, and that the higher ups at North Carolina are incredibly split and arguing in rooms amongst themselves about this whole situation. What an absolute mess. Okay, that aside, sorry, just had to get that out there. Which Titans rookie, besides Cam Ward, will have the most opportunity to make an impact? We asked this question to Mike Herndon yesterday of paulkaharski.com, and I thought his response was interesting. This was Mike Herndon on the show yesterday when asked that exact question.
I think Gunnar Helm is going to get, and I know people are going to roll their eyes, calling me a Texas homer right now, probably into the radio, but I think, Chig Okonkwo is ideally suited to be more of a complimentary tight end anyways. He's a good player, not taking a shot at Chig or anything, but I think Helm is going to quickly surpass Josh Wiley because I think he does all of the things that they wanted Wiley to do, but does them at a higher level. And obviously this is a new regime, and they've now invested directly in Helm. And I think Helm's going to play right away. I think he's going to be a third down red zone weapon right away. And I could see him being a great safety blanket for Cam Ward early in his career. The guy catches everything, huge frame, huge target, and is able to go high point the football with the best of them. So I think he's going to be a guy that we could see some early contribution from in this draft class.
That's Mike Herndon yesterday. That's the first name that popped into his head when I asked, outside of Cam Ward, which Titans rookie will have the most opportunity to make an impact? And, I mean, it makes sense. Just because there are bodies in that tight end room doesn't mean that Gunnar Helm won't jump to the top of that depth chart or at least play a role that neither Wiley nor Okonkwo can offer them. Like you said, Josh Wiley drafted by a different regime. Chig Okonkwo drafted by a different regime. Dane Brugler had Gunnar Helm as his number 7 tight end prospect. His summary of Helm as a prospect out of Texas is overall, Helm will need time to adjust to NFL physicality as a blocker, but he has the toughness and pass-catching talent to potentially become a 3-down player. His tape shows a possible mismatch weapon, but his lackluster combine performance will give NFL teams pause. Robert, do we remember why he had a lackluster combine performance, specifically in the 40?
Yeah, wasn't his ankle the size of a coconut?
He sprained his ankle
before he ran, by the way, not during his run, before he ran and toughed it out and still did 2 attempts.
Wasn't it like when he was getting off the block, so to speak, at the starting gun?
I believe so. I think there was a false start or something. I'll have to check on that.
I think that's what he sprained his ankle on, and then he ran it anyway. And, yeah, the pictures of his ankle. So, yeah, I like Mike Herndon's reasoning there. My mind immediately went to the 2 receivers, specifically Alec Iomanner, who I think can be utilized in a variety of ways, maybe more so than DK, the speedster out of Florida, who might be more of a developmental prospect. I mean, you probably would have flipped the 2, right, if they were being drafted based on the value of what they bring to the table and where most experts, analysts, for what that's worth, would have had them ranked. It would have been Iomanner ahead of DK. You end up taking DK and then get Iomanner for great value. But just for the fact of the Titans wide receiver room right now has 3 players that have ever done anything in the NFL. And you're talking about Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, down to Van Jefferson. So we were having this conversation in the green room, the production room here at the studio during one of the Ramon, Kayla, and Will breaks. And Will was saying, he didn't know if Van Jefferson, not acting like he's a slam dunk to make this roster. I know Buck has said that too, and I agree. But we have to take into account that he is one of 3 players that has ever done anything at the NFL level.
And something I'm susceptible to as a fan is to be like, well, the piece is in place. Like, they have these guys who are already here. Like, they're going to have a leg up. That's not always the case in either Chig's case with Gunnar Helm or the new rookie receivers in Van Jefferson's case. If they come in there and show even a semblance of juice, of we need to pour into this guy, the returns on investing in them early and giving them snaps over a guy who's on a 1-year deal, or in Chig's case is an older contract, older rookie contract, the returns are better to pour in the new guy to see if he is something that you can count on going forward. Because Chig has never been, he was expected to be, despite being drafted in the later rounds, was expected to be a guy who could contribute because his rookie year was phenomenal for a rookie tight end. We usually see the rookie tight ends, it takes a couple years to get them in the swing of things. But his rookie year, this guy's great. He's going to be awesome. And I wonder if he hit his ceiling. Hit his ceiling as a rookie player and never really rose above that. I wonder if when Gunnar comes in, I agree with Mike Herndon. He is probably the rookie outside of Cam Ward who can contribute the most. How much does he get early on? Is this a slow roll, or is this something that they turn to pretty early in the season?
Steve on the F&M Bank chat says, I watched every game Helm played. He's the next Kelsey Gronk tight end in the NFL. All right, we got to calm down on that comparison. Brandon says Greg Cosell compared Gunnar Helm to Noah Gray in Kansas City, who Bergonzi obviously was a part of drafting. And then there's Femi Oladejo, who brings such an interesting contrast, Robert, of a position of borderline desperate need, right, at pass rusher. But that is arguably the most traits high upside pick of the draft for the Titans. You can say Kevin Winston Jr. too, a safety who, again, Nick Saban saying on the day that Winston Jr. was drafted on television, if this guy played all year last year, he would be a first-round pick.
And Winston played the position at a high level prior to being hurt last year.
Yeah, and
there's examples of him succeeding on the field.
For sure. For him, it's an injury thing. There wasn't a ton of production because of the injuries, but there's no question. All the traits in the world that you want out of a safety. But Oladejo, who stepped into a pass rushing role a few games into his last season at UCLA after being an off-ball linebacker the majority of his career, he might be the rawest prospect that the Titans have brought in, arguably. And he steps into probably the biggest position of need on this roster. That's a contrast that I can't wait to see how that plays out. Oladejo thrown into the fire with every opportunity in front of him to make an impact, just for the fact that there's nobody else there outside of Arden Key and Draymond Jones. And maybe Jalen Harrell proves me wrong, or, what?
Lorenzo Carter.
Right, that's true. Forgot about Lorenzo Carter, who, just is what he is at this point in the NFL. Maybe one of those guys steps up in a way that they haven't so far in their NFL careers.
That'll be what's interesting to watch in training camp and then into preseason. Like, how are these guys deployed early on? Who are the people that they're, I'm doing air quotes, protecting in these games, and who are they throwing out there? Because Femi would be a guy that I think you would want to play him as much as possible in the preseason. Like, let this guy get a grasp of playing against the highest level of talent there is. Figure this out, and then we'll see how we can deploy you.
Yeah, similar to what you're talking about with the tight end position, the upside of accelerating the development of your traitsy, crazy athletic, raw second-round edge rusher compared to getting Lorenzo Carter more reps because he's played more football but hasn't had the production.
Right. You can leave Draymond Jones and Lorenzo Carter on the sideline in preseason. Like, let's just see what Femi can do.
Exactly. So that'll be interesting, and there will be loads of opportunity for a guy like Oladejo. And so that's kind of who I thought of. Just not in terms of the prospect himself, but just in terms of what he is surrounded by or not surrounded by. Oladejo and then the receivers were the first that came to mind for me. Mike Herndon said Gunnar Helm, the tight end, and I kind of like his reasoning. We know, obviously, that Cam Ward will have more opportunity than any of these rookies. Brian Callahan can tell you that he's got to earn those reps, but he'll be your starting quarterback in 2025. What would Cam Ward have to do to be a legitimate candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year? We'll take a look at some of the recent winners of that award at the quarterback position and evaluate next on 104.5 The Zone.
The Tennessee Men's Clinic is such a great resource. It's been such a great resource for guys over the last decade plus working here in Middle Tennessee. And at some point in your life, as your body starts to change, as you start to age, you may be feeling like you've got a little less energy. You may be feeling like performance issues have started to pop up, and you may have resigned yourself to the fact that those things just happen. It doesn't have to be that way. Whether it's low energy or those performance issues that I mentioned, those aren't inevitable, and in fact, solutions exist. The Tennessee Men's Clinic difference is that there's no guesswork and no gimmicks, just real science and effective treatments. Because you don't want to mess with online fixes that oftentimes give you generic pills that are overpriced and most times ineffective. They will offer you at the Tennessee Men's Clinic personalized treatment plans with multiple urologists and providers on hand to tailor solutions specifically to your body and to your goals. Their men's services are comprehensive, whether it's ED treatments or testosterone and other options that many guys don't even know exist. Call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or visit them online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com today.
So when you mentioned Cam Ward as a Rookie of the Year candidate, the initial reaction might be to scoff, right? The Titans are not in a position to where Cam Ward, even if, not best case scenario, but even if a season passes where you come away thinking we've got our guy, will it still be good enough to be Rookie of the Year with what the Titans have or don't have around the number one pick out of Miami? I don't know. According to the betting odds, it's not so insane. And Ben Solak wrote a long article predicting Rookie of the Year finalists and winners in the 2025 NFL season. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Also on 1045 The Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. We put it to a poll as well. At Lucas Panzica is where you can go vote. Who will be Cam Ward's biggest competition for Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2025? Now, you can reply with another submission, but the four that we put in are Ashton Genty, Travis Hunter, Matthew Golden, and Tet McMillan. Ben Solak has ranked his Rookie of the Year predictions here. And I'm slightly surprised by a few of these, and we'll read them in just a second. But, Robert, have you seen, number one, before I ask you to guess this, have you seen the betting odds?
I have seen no odds for this.
Okay, so who would you guess? Top three in order, according to FanDuel Sportsbook, are the betting favorites to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Up front, I would say Travis Hunter would be 1 because of the spectacle. Cam Ward would be 2, and Ashton Jeanty would be 3.
You are correct about Cam Ward. You're correct about the 3, and you're right about Cam Ward being 2.
With Jeanty being the favorite.
Jeanty's the favorite. Per FanDuel Sportsbook, Ashton Jeanty, the Boise State running back drafted in the top 10 to Vegas, is plus 270 as the betting favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
And the other two's odds.
Cameron Ward, plus 380. Travis Hunter at plus 750.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then you drop down to Tet McMillan at plus 1,000. And then we're really getting in the weeds.
Yeah, you got to think about what a wide receiver would have to do to win Rookie of the Year. It would have to be game-changing.
Game-changing. And to Solak's point, your best chance as a wide receiver to win Rookie of the Year is if you do so despite a bad quarterback situation. So, yeah, it would feel like quite the long shot. Right now, Jeanty, Ward, Hunter are kind of your 3. I think I'm with you that I would have placed Travis Hunter as the odds-on favorite to win Rookie of the Year. Just if he makes any impact on both sides of the ball and is able to stay available throughout the course of the season, then you feel like he's almost a slam dunk to win the award unless Ashton Jeanty has this unprecedented season for a rookie running back or Cam Ward, shades of Jaden Daniels in his rookie year.
Well, and then also, it seems like this award is also tied, and fairly or unfairly, with winning. And I would assume that the Jaguars would be in the best position to have the best record. Like, at this point in the offseason, if you're putting those 3 teams up, I don't think the Raiders are winning a ton of games. I think the Titans are floating around 500, and the Jags are probably floating around 500 or maybe a game above, potentially.
So, Ashton Jeanty, the betting favorite. Ben Solak of ESPN writes an article, and ultimately he ranks his favorites, his picks to win Rookie of the Year. He has Cam Ward as his number 1 pick for Rookie of the Year. Then he goes Ashton Jeanty 2, then Tet McMillan, then Tyler Shuck, and then Travis Hunter. Very surprised to see him going all the way to 5 before Travis Hunter. And he says the elephant in the room is Jags wide receiver and corner Travis Hunter, who would be an excellent candidate for this award if he were destined to play close to 100% of the offensive snaps, but that might not be the case. The Jaguars' plan for their two-way star is reportedly fluid, and as such, it's hard to trust that Hunter will have a competitive snap count or target share relative to past winners at the wide receiver position. I'll slot him in at the Egbuka Matthew Golden tier as a candidate to win Rookie of the Year. So, he says about about Cam Ward, my favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year is Ward, the only passer with an obvious path to starting the vast majority of the 2025 season. He lands in a solid environment in Tennessee. The offensive line has been improved across all 5 positions over the past 2 seasons. And while the receiving room isn't amazing, nobody rated Washington's 2024 group or Houston's 2023 group as spectacular. The next drafted quarterbacks, Jackson Dart with the Giants and Tyler Shuck with the Saints, are behind veterans, although the uncertain health of Derek Carr bumps Shuck above Dart for him. So all fair reasoning for Ben Solak. And the more you look at this, the more it doesn't seem insane that Cam Ward could actually be a candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year. We're putting the cart before the horse here. The guy's got to show that he can even be a competent starting quarterback in the NFL. But look.
Sure, looking at the competition, though, it seems like there is a path for that because of the lack of quarterback talent in the overall draft and the landing spots of the top offensive players.
Exactly. Like, you think of Offensive Rookie of the Year, and if you're just thinking about it in the prism of 2024, then it would feel like such a long shot, right? But that was such a unique draft class where you have multiple rookies starting at quarterback by season's end, where Michael Penix, who knows, Sam Darnold the year he had. It's hard to imagine J.J. McCarthy starting last season. Who knows if he remains healthy through training camp. But you've got Penix, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels all starting as rookies, and then Caleb Williams on top of all that last year. And so it probably adjusted how people thought about Rookie of the Year at quarterback if you're just with recency bias in mind. So we decided to pull up the last 10 winners of AP NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. In the last decade, Robert, how many do you think are quarterbacks to win this award?
I would say 8 out of the last 10.
5.
Only 5?
Half, yeah. So obviously Jaden Daniels last year had an unprecedented season, one of 6 rookie quarterbacks to lead his team to a conference championship game as a starter, most rush yards ever by a rookie quarterback, breaking RG3's record, also in Washington. We know all this. Jaden Daniels won in 2024. C.J. Stroud won with Houston in 2023. In 2022, it was Garrett Wilson with the Jets. In 2021, it was Jamar Chase with the Bengals. In 2020, it was Justin Herbert. 2019, Kyler Murray. 2018, Saquon. 2017, Kamara. And then 2016, Dak Prescott. But even before that, 2015, Todd Gurley. 2014, Odell. 2013, Eddie Lacy.
Oh, wow.
How about that?
What a throwback.
Yeah, totally forgot Eddie Lacy won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He won the year after RG3 did, and that was a run of 3 straight QBs. Sam Bradford, another one. Cam Newton, RG3. Man, Bradford and RG3. Talk about the talents that flamed out. I remember RG3's rookie season like it was yesterday.
That rushing touchdown against the Vikings, Jared Allen leaping to try to stop him. It was like a 67-yard rushing touchdown. He was electric.
Electric. I remember being so excited about Robert Griffin III. Robert, I do not remember being excited about Sam Bradford, but Rookie of the Year 2010 with the Rams.
Stuff with Eddie Lacy, too. I do remember being excited about Eddie Lacy. The first 1,000-yard rusher for the Packers, like, since NAM. Like, they had waited for so long for a good rusher, and then you get Eddie Lacy, who just fizzles out in 2 or 3 years.
And the Packers with these streaks, man, to have all these streaks that long without a 1,000-yard rusher, that long without a first-round receiver, yet still just perennially competitive and the Super Bowls under their belt and all these things. So,
you want to say any more players' names while we're here? Jermichael Finley?
I am having a good time. I'm not going to lie. I mean, 2008, Matt Ryan, 2007, Adrian VY, 06. We can keep going. This is fun. But, yeah, let's just start naming names. So, all that to say, in the last decade, only 5 quarterbacks have won the award. So the parameters of what it takes for a quarterback to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, as we mentioned, Jaden Daniels was kind of his own situation last year. He actually had the lowest amount of pass yards of any of these 5 quarterbacks. But as we know, 891 rush yards, a record for a rookie, 6 touchdowns, 25 passing touchdowns to 9 interceptions. And it's really about the wins, right? For Jaden Daniels to lead a team, play every game, and lead a team to a 12-5 season in the conference championship. I know it's a regular season award, but the wins played a big role in Jaden Daniels winning Offensive Rookie of the Year because you felt bad for Bo Nix last year, honestly, with where he was picked and the expectation or lack thereof on the former Auburn and Oregon quarterback. Any other year, Bo Nix wins Offensive Rookie of the Year with what he did in Denver, but Jaden Daniels happened, so that wasn't the case.
Don't make him blush. Nashville, if you're ready to blush, you need to go to the 6th annual Nashville Rosé Festival coming to East Park on Saturday, May 17th. Sip over 100 rosé wines plus cocktail brews and more. Enjoy live DJs, performance art, food trucks, and support the Tennessee Breast Cancer Coalition. Listen all week long for your chance to win mom tickets to Nashville Rose Festival on May 17th at East Park, just in time for Mother's Day. For more details or to sign up online, go to 1045thezone.com/contests.
Sounds like a great option for Mother's Day, which is coming up this weekend. Don't forget. So if you're to just take away and just remember 2024, it could lead to some misconceptions about Cam Ward's ability to win Rookie of the Year. You might think, well, look what Jaden Daniels did. You have to be electric. You have to win games. That's not necessarily the case. So in 2023, C.J. Stroud, had an unbelievable season. 4,000-yard passer, 23 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, goes 9-6 as a starter. But then you look at the 2020 season. And Justin Herbert, who, if we can recall, was in a pretty solid quarterback class, drafted alongside Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa. He completes 66.6% of his passes for over 4,300 yards, so very productive, 31 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Only goes 6-9 as a starter, no playoffs. But really, I'm looking at 2019, Robert, with Kyler Murray, who was the number 1 overall pick right here in Nashville. Kind of a weaker quarterback class, right? I mean, I'm trying to think of the other names in that quarterback class. Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace, was a part of that quarterback class. But Kyler Murray was the cream of the crop. when it came to the quarterbacks and that. Now, Daniel Jones, of course. How can we forget? Number 6 overall. But it wasn't thought to be a particularly strong QB class, right? Daniel Jones was widely regarded as a highly overdrafted player at 6 overall. Haskins going at 15. And that about summed it up.
It's kind of crazy that Kyler Murray wasn't even he wouldn't even lean all the way, push all his eggs into one basket about playing in the NFL and still went number 1 overall. Do you remember that super awkward interview with Dan Patrick where he's like, so you want to play football, right? And he's like,
oh, yeah. It was all about, well, he played baseball.
Yeah, and his dad was there, and he was just sitting there.
That's
and
right.
Awkward.
That had been completely removed from my memory.
It's like that guy went number 1 overall, and we didn't even know if he loved football at the time, which is a huge question now. How much do they guys love the game? Like,
I completely had forgotten about that interaction with Dan Patrick. He wouldn't even answer if he wanted to play football over baseball, man. So Kyler Murray in 2019 completes just over 64% of his passes, 3,722 yards, 20 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, 544 rush yards, 4 touchdowns, and only goes 5-10-1 as a starter. This is pre-17 games. So they don't make the playoffs. He plays every game, 5 wins, 10 losses, 1 tie. You're telling me a season like that doesn't seem achievable for Cam Ward? Considering the lack of quarterbacks drafted around him, the lack of quarterbacks that are even going to get a chance to start as rookies. Like we said with Ben Solak, maybe Tyler Shuck starts if the Derek Carr shoulder thing continues. Maybe Shedeur Sanders wins that battle and rises above the rest in Cleveland. Seems doubtful as a 5th-round pick at this point.
I do feel like Kyler Murray, a lot of the reason that he was tamped up that year was because of the rushing aspect as well. How many rushing yards and rushing touchdowns do you think Kyler Murray had as a rookie?
I've got it in front of me. 544 and 4 touchdowns.
Not even his most impressive rookie rushing year, but still 500 extra rushing yards, 4 touchdowns to go along with his 3,900 passing yards.
Jonathan on the F&M Bank chat says, has anyone said Travis Hunter being offensive and defensive rookie of the year? Wouldn't that be crazy? No, I don't think we're even considering that as a possibility.
Right.
But all that to say, I went into this conversation thinking, that's an uphill climb, man. And it is. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and couch, the challenge, the difficulty level of winning offensive rookie of the year. It is an impressive thing to do. You have to have a fantastic season. But it's a lot more realistic than I kind of gave it credit for, to be honest, with just last season in mind. And then you look back at all these years, especially in those seasons with a weaker quarterback class, and it seems attainable from that point of view for Cam Ward. But what would have to happen, right? I mean, the Titans' offensive line would have to hold up, would have to be healthy. You would think Lloyd Cushenberry would have to play the majority of the season. Tyler Lockett would have to bring you something. Calvin Ridley, that connection with Cam Ward would obviously have to click. You would have to find his security blanket, whether that's a gunner helm or whoever. And there would have to be a semblance of a run game for Cam Ward to lean on with Tony Pollard coming back. I mean, that running back room right now, that's Pollard, Spears, Chestnut, and you drafted Khalil Mullings, obviously out of Michigan. They did add Micah Bernard, the Utah running back, who dual threat guy in terms of his ability to catch passes out of the backfield, 99 career catches, 770 yards, really broke out last year with a 1,000-yard season. There will be competition there at the running back spot, but Tony Pollard aims to come back and kind of lead that running back room. So, I don't know. It just feels a lot more feasible to me than it was even when this segment, this idea kind of popped into my head in reading this Ben Solak article. Again, Ben Solak ranking his candidates to win Offensive Rookie of the Year: Cam Ward 1, Ashton Genty 2, Tyler Shuck 3, Jackson Dart 4.
And I saw a submission in the F&M Bank chat. Marion Hampton with the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, he loves to run the ball. They have not re-signed J.K. Dobbins, and they released Gus Edwards, leaving Kamani Vidal and former Titan, his name's escaping me.
Sorry, you're talking about?
Chargers backfield. Why can I not remember his name?
Hassan Haskins.
Hassan Haskins. So it is Hassan Haskins, Kamani Vidal, and Amarian Hampton in this room. Amarian Hampton I think should be in the top 5 of players who potentially could push to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's going to get rolled out early. You've got to think if you're investing that much capital into somebody, you're going to play them early.
And that's the other thing that helps Cam Ward, right? And he's going to play. He's going to start every game. And he's the only quarterback in this rookie class that you can actually say that about with a legitimate vote of confidence. So Ashton Jeanty, your betting favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year at plus 270. I mean, how much do we figure the Raiders are going to lean on Ashton Jeanty as a rookie? Who else is in that running back room in Vegas right now?
It's like the island of misfit toys, if I believe. I got to check it out.
Yeah, right now you're looking at Ashton Jeanty, Raheem Mostert, Sincere McCormick, and Zamir White is still there.
So Sincere McCormick, who ended up starting, I think, 2 or 3 games for them late when Zamir White and the rest of their room was hurt. I also like Dylan Lawby, who was a late-round pick for them. We got to get white running backs a chance. Let this guy. There's only we had last year with what's the cornerback in Philadelphia, the resurgence. We needed Toby Gerhart in the league.
Yeah.
We need one of those guys.
Is it a sham for us to leave Cam Scadaboo out of this conversation? Would you like to know where Cam Scadaboo lies as a betting in terms of his betting odds to win Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Oh,
What
that's
would you
tough.
guess? What do you think?
Plus 2,500.
10,000.
10,000.
Plus 10,000 for
God.
Cam Scadaboo. He is sandwiched by Jalen Noel and Terrence Ferguson to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. But you brought up Amarian Hampton. FanDuel has him as the 5th favorite behind Ted McMillan. I'm surprised, maybe I shouldn't be, at how low Matthew Golden is at plus 2,000 behind Tyler Shuck, behind R.J. Harvey, behind Travion Henderson.
It just feels like a really crowded room, doesn't it? Like for him to break through.
Yeah.
Like it obviously first wide receiver they've drafted in the first round since like the 50s or whatever it was. But like there's a ton of competition in that room, not just for snaps, but for certain plays.
Gary tweets at us and says, "Don't worry, big sports media's anti-Titans bias will keep Cam Ward from winning Rookie of the Year. Didn't keep Vince Young from winning it. In fact, let's go back and look at Vince Young's rookie numbers with the Titans in that 2006 season. So played in 15 games, started 13, 8-5 record as a starter. Vince Young won Rookie of the Year, completing 51.5% of his passes for 2,199 yards, 12 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, and he won Rookie of the Year on those numbers. Man, that had to be a bad year for NFL rookies. Now, VY was fun and exciting, and when he got injected, I mean, you stood on your feet, and it was coming off the heels of that Texas National Championship moment, obviously, so maybe that kind of took on a life of its own, and obviously what he did on the ground at over 500 rush yards, 7 rushing touchdowns, but wow, I mean, I remember that season. I remember VY Rookie of the Year and on the cover of Madden, but it is kind of wild to go back and look at those numbers in 2006, that the dude completing barely 51% of his passes with 12 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Like, put that up next to what we just saw at Jaden Daniels. My goodness.
The standards also changed, though.
Absolutely.
Like,
I mean, that's literally 2 decades ago.
You're expecting, like, before, if you were a rookie wide receiver, they're like, oh, yeah, he's not going to come on until year 2, year 3. And now rookie wide receivers are coming in and quickly becoming the best receivers in the league.
615-737-1045. Zach in Nashville up next. Hey, Zach.
Hey, how y'all doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Good, man.
Hey, man, I would love to see Cam Ward get Offensive Rookie of the Year, of course, as a Titans fan. But I don't know. I've just been listening the last couple minutes, got in the truck from going home from work. But have y'all said anything about Ted McMillan, man, on the Panthers? Got a really good feeling about him. Bryce Young was balling at the end of last season when he got Thielen back. I think he's going to be a heck of a pro receiver, man. I really like him. What do y'all think about McMillan on the Panthers? I'll hang up. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Zach. We did mention he is plus 1,000, so he is 4th, according to FanDuel, in the betting odds. And again, just tough for receivers in that award.
Yeah, and I don't hate his landing spot there. Like, I like what Dave Canales is building over there. I like that they've got 2 big, fast guys with him and Xavier Legette. So it's just it's an uphill sled as a wide receiver. Like the guys you noted in the last 10 years.
Garrett Wilson, Jamar Chase, Odell Beckham Jr., and then Jamar Chase won in 2021. You got to go all the way back to 2014 when Odell won Rookie of the Year.
Oh, it's kind of crazy, too, because Odell, if I believe correctly, his rookie year only played like 8 games, 10 games. Like the first 6 weeks of the season, he wasn't even there. It was that one-handed catch, and that put him over the edge, put him on the cover of Madden, the whole shebang.
Yeah. Yeah, Odell in his rookie year played in only 12 games, right? 1,300 yards in 12 games.
It's insane.
My goodness.
You thought Malik Neighbors was getting force-fed last year.
My goodness. That's crazy. So I do keep coming back to that figure. And I know, look, we're box score scouting here, but that's what this award is a lot of the times, I guess, unless you're Vince Young throwing 12 touchdowns and 13 picks. But Kyler Murray in 2019, over 3,700 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 544 rush yards with 4 touchdowns, a 5-10-1 record. As a starter, feels achievable for Cam Ward. Obviously, that will depend on Travis Hunter. That will depend on the workload around Ashton Genty, and the Titans have bigger goals with Cam Ward than just winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. But just a lot more feasible than I guess I had given it credit for upon first thought. 615-737-1045. Last call for phone calls. We will take more of your calls on this and wrap up the show with some polls coming up next. Last call for phone call, 615-737-1045. Fun show the last couple days. Life's just better when Buck's out of the picture. I think we can all agree. What did one of our callers say earlier? Addition by subtraction?
I'll also say this. While he's out of town, I had to go make a little maintenance call.
What do you mean?
He has automatic feeders, automatic litter box, automatic waters.
Make sure the cats are okay.
So I had to go water his cats, make sure they were okay. I Venmo requested $100,000 from him. So we'll see how that goes. Also, he left lots of snacks in his fridge.
Like what?
Artisan chicken salad that he always complains about me eating. I ate that with my hands.
The whole thing?
Yes. Oh,
Good.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. What does he do? What, are you going to leave for 4 days and expect it to be good? Come on, man. I'm sure he'll pitch a fit about that. But the snacks at Buck's house has not improved. Bunch of seaweed snacks.
He's very wasteful. He'd rather throw something away than give it to someone less fortunate, famously.
Well, I don't think that's completely true. If it was an animal or someone in the community that needed something, unfortunately, Buck is a great guy and would give it to him. If you or I needed something, he would set it on fire in front of us.
I disagree with you. He threw away a perfectly fine PS5 that would have made a child very happy. Literally threw it in the garbage.
Hurt my feelings.
615-737-1045. Mike in Murfreesboro is up next. Hey, Mike.
Hey, just wanted to talk to you guys about this 3-game homestand over the next 8 days with SC. Real excited about it, especially coming off our last home game being a 7-2 win with Sam Surridge, Super Sam, scoring 4 goals. Want to see what your thoughts are about these next 3 games coming up.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. It's a busy month. Nashville SC is playing 9 games in the month of May. So that is, on average, a game every 3.4 days. So it's a heavy lift. U.S. Open Cup happening in the middle of it all, and a lot of squad rotation for those games. Nashville kind of held off Chattanooga Red Wolves on Tuesday to move on to the round of 16 in U.S. Open Cup. They'll play that game Wednesday, May 21st against Orlando on the road. But, yeah, last home game, that 7-2. We didn't even talk about that, I don't think. I left on vacation right after. 7-2. That is not a thing that happens.
That was draft weekend, right?
Correct.
I remember getting in my car at one point, and you're like, go! You're doing your whole thing. And we parked, got out to eat, came back to the car, got in, and you're going, no! Again. Like, it just seemed like they just kept coming.
Man, it doesn't happen like that. Every once in a while, you'll see a hockey game with 6-7 goals, like a big spike. I'm telling you, soccer, that happens far less frequently. Like it happens in hockey and you take note of it. But when it happens in soccer, everybody thinks it's a typo. 7 goals, 4 by Sam Surridge alone, and suddenly he's in the Golden Boot race in Major League Soccer. So, yeah, that was, that might be the most fun I've ever had calling a game in any sport, that 7-2 win over Chicago. So, Nashville's finding itself right now in the attack, and, again, busy week, busy month. They host Charlotte tomorrow night at Geodis Park. So head out there if you haven't been yet this season. They just faced Charlotte a month ago. It's a quick turnaround, and they lost 2-1. Charlotte coming back at Bank of America Stadium, 2 goals in the last 5+ minutes to win. So Nashville will be looking to avenge that and keep climbing up the Eastern Conference table. This is a fun team right now. This is a team that's gelling, that is one of the best attacking teams quietly in Major League Soccer, and they're scoring goals. So we'll have it for you. 7:30 is the kickoff. 7 p.m. pregame tomorrow on 104.5 The Zone. Looking forward to it. You can always listen on the radio, or if you're watching on Apple TV, you have the option to turn on the home radio broadcast audio on Apple TV in the audio settings. So appreciate the call, Mike. Yeah, fun times right now for Nashville Soccer Club, but busy times with 3 matches in the next 8 or so days. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the game against Charlotte. Let's do some polls.
The polls brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the most trusted Ford dealership in the whole South. At what position, besides quarterback, will Titans rookies have the biggest chance to make an impact? Wide receiver, tight end, edge, and DB. Wide receiver takes it handedly with 68%.
Okay. Wide receiver. So DK and Io Manor have the biggest chance to make an impact. Just in terms of opportunity, strictly opportunity, I would vote edge there. But, yeah, I won't fault Titans fans for looking around at that wide receiver room beyond Ridley and Lockett and saying, oh, yeah, there's going to be chances there for the two rookies.
What was your most positive story you saw in sports this week? A lot of people either throwing up Bill Belichick or Buck not being on the show today. But you and I's favorite contributor on polls, Christopher Cecil, offers Paul Pierce's 8-hour walk to work.
Okay.
Did you see this?
Yes. Now, could you please lay it out for the audience?
Okay, so Paul Pierce, much like myself, is a gambling man. He would like to make a bet that there's no way the Celtics lose Game 2 against the Knicks. There's absolutely no way. And if they do, I'm walking to work tomorrow. And walk to work he did. An 8-hour. I think it was... I can't remember the actual mileage, but...
It was like 15 miles. Did he actually walk? I don't think he actually walked. I saw him being wheeled into the studio.
I saw the finish of him approaching the studios from the outside. There were people outside with cameras. There were balloons.
So he actually walked?
Yes. He was like, I'm a superstar.
Oh, my God.
I'm a superstar as they brought him into the house.
And then they literally wheeled him into the Fox studio like when he was wheeled off the court allegedly after soiling himself while playing for the Celtics. I only saw the wheelchair bit. I thought he drove to the studio and did a whole bit where he came out on a wheelchair, which to me was funny enough. But he actually walked 15 miles.
Yep.
After guaranteeing that's incredible. A lot of respect gained for Paul Pierce.
Who you got this weekend? The Vols or Vandy? Vols take it 62%, 37% Vandy.
Big series happening in Knoxville. First game is at 4:30 Central this afternoon. Early first pitch, so we will join it in progress. The Vol Network call at the end of 3HL at 6. We'll have the rest of the games all weekend right here for you on The Zone. I mean, home field advantage in the postseason could be on the line this weekend for both Tennessee and Vanderbilt.
Who will be Cam Ward's biggest competition for Offensive Rookie of the Year? Ashton Genty, Travis Hunter, Matthew Golden, Tet McMillan. Ashton Genty with the large amount of the polls, 63.8%. Travis Hunter with 29%, the rest of them in single digits.
Little surprised Travis Hunter isn't getting more love for Rookie of the Year. Like, I get we got to see it to believe it. Can he do it on both sides really for an entire season in the NFL? But I don't know. I guess I'm surprised that the optimism isn't higher.
I don't know if you're in any dynasty leagues or in any fantasy leagues, but the big discussion around him was, where do you pick him? Like, obviously, if he's playing offense, like, he's going to go very high. I've been in a couple dynasty drafts this weekend, and he's been top 3 every week. So I feel like people's opinion of him as an offensive player is going to change more and more the more we see him on the field, the more we see him practice. It'll be something that's fun to follow.
Those are the polls?
Those are the polls.
And that's the show. Happy Mother's Day weekend to all of the wonderful mothers out there. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Blaine and Zach got you covered coming up next. Buck will be back, and we'll all moan and groan about it on Monday. But have a fabulous weekend. Appreciate you guys hanging out on 104.5 The Zone.
Two Rivers Ford announces employee pricing for everyone. Every tradesman, every dad, every rising star. You pay what we pay. Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned. American made.